Welcome, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, guys. It is time for more Swiss action. We're in week 3, and we've got a couple of 0-2s going on right now. We got Durrun, and it's Paranoia. I am Gregory Puff, joined in the booth by Shukun T. Kustuin. He's hanging out with me. How you doing today?
You can just call me Kus. And yes, I'm doing great today. Our runners are set to go. And might I add, I don't believe anyone's actually taken a chance to ask this, but isn't this the Much Paranoia who does Dragon Warrior Randomizers?
I'm pretty sure it's the same Much Paranoia that does Dragon Warrior Randomizer, and I'm pretty sure Durrun also does different randomizers besides Final Fantasy. Both of them relatively new to this, but they are known throughout other randomizer communities. And we're going to get these guys started here in just a moment. Let's talk about these parties real quick. First off, I like the fact that Durrun is bringing a black belt because, you know, black belts like to punch things, and that makes me happy. It's Paranoia. Looks like he's going for a more traditional fighter rainbow. I'm pretty happy with these two comps. I think they'll both benefit each runner here. What do you think about them?
Well, as we've seen in the last match that Canuck had actually ran, there could be some very swift changes going on. I mean, seriously, that level 1 Fate coming up out of the woodwork basically made it a easy run for our competitors in that last match. So I wouldn't be surprised if people don't take a look at the first level spells and decide if they're going to make a run or not. As far as bringing a black belt is definitely a high risk, high reward. I'd possibly change that white mage to a red mage and run two red over a white. But then again, I've been proven wrong in that.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you like. I mean, having the white mage and the black mage is going to give you all those spell charges. And first things first, we've got heal 2 and the white mage learnable slot. Everything else, a couple of harm spells. Those would be good to take down some undead packs. So you kind of like to see that, especially for your white and red mages. And then you have Ice 3, really cheap Ice 3. That's a really good sweeper spell there. It's going to do a lot of damage in the early game.
Yeah, probably is free.
Yeah, and then we've got a longsword. Not really interested in picking that up, considering pretty sure they don't have enough money. Question in chat, Rift wondering, don't they have to be the same party? That's only if they drafted. Neither of these runners drafted. They went on ahead and decided to choose their own party.
Yeah, they kind of decide their own selection rules. In the Swiss, you can as long as it's agreed upon and not peer pressured, it's all good.
Yeah, but that's pretty much how the draft works. And look at that, we got an Oxio for only 1,500. That is a go mode item, gets you into Sea Shrine. You need it in order to finish the game, and it's really good to see that vendor item here because it's going to be cheap. We got Ice 3s coming out, murdering some imps. And it's Paranoia is more than likely going to pick up a level from that. Durrun getting out of Canaria, going to reset out of Imp Battle, and did not save, so he's going to have to remake his party, unfortunately. You hate to see that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean...
What spurred that one on?
Well, I'm just thinking he forgot to save and then got into that battle and was like, And then now he's going to have to remake his whole party. That's going to put him behind a little bit.
Yeah, that's a complete mess up.
Yeah. Garland goes down to 1 Ice 3, and we're going to see our first couple of key items. We got a Ruby. That's fantastic to see. That's 2 key items you're going to be able to get doing the Ruby turn-in, and our Crown, which is an Inner Sea turn-in. So a lot going on right now as far as what we have. Oxiel, Crown, Ruby. Q, you know what's going on. You're seeing what's happening on Paranoia's side. Where do you go from here?
I would definitely grind up some levels before even trying to touch Astros. Astros would literally take Paranoia, pick him up, and do Dragon Lord to him right down the.
And that is interesting that you say that. I mean, with the magic spell layout, they should be be fine to be able to take on a low-level Astos. I do like the play of going on ahead and heading over to Provoker first because you do have level 2 spells. So we can see what's in level 2. We can, take down pirates pretty quickly with the Ice 3. I think we'll be fine. Durrun, however, has remade his party, is out of Canaria, and is heading towards Garland. Not a lot happening in white magic, just the X for if you're one of those kind of people. And fast, Nuke.
Okay, Nuke changes the game here.
Yeah, big time Nuke and fast sharing the same slot, it is what it is. Now I feel like Durrun's in kind of an even bigger disadvantage, not only doing the reset and having to remake his party, but he only has one black magic user, so he's only going to get one charge or one caster doing the nuke, whereas its Paranoia is going to have 2 people throwing nukes out left and right.
And it looks like we're going to start seeing some pirate action here.
Yeah, so the pirates are going to go down pretty quickly to all this AoE. It doesn't matter what you choose. Ice 3, nuke. I think they're going to roll more than 6 HP on these guys.
Well, say goodnight, pirates. Hope your 15 seconds of fame was worth it.
Yeah. So yeah, the pirates are gone. And we got a cursor. We got cursor watch happening on Durrun's screen. It made me think that my cursor was on the screen. But 5th Light Warrior not going to really. Bicky looks like he gave something. The loot.
Yep.
Yeah, you like that, huh? You beat up a pirate and you get some guitar work.
The loot gives access to Topher. That's a great find. That's one less item you have to worry about being loose. But there is still a lot of chests out there, and there's a big old world that we got.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you here. Thundercloud pointing out the cursor there. One fine day saying that black belt's worthless. We don't know that yet, man. I mean, the black belt, we could find a triple I grind right now, like just anywhere. You never know what's going to happen here. Durrun gets through the pirates, picks up his loot, and is more than likely going to check black magic at this point and find the good news about the nuke spells. And man, finding nuke early, this is like one of the first seeds I've called this week where nuke was actually available, and that's got to feel pretty good for these runners because you can like mow down pretty much all these early enemy packs with it.
Now, if I might ask, we haven't seen Exit yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, do we really want to go into March? I mean, yeah, I know I'm a big fan of Bank March for a quick buck. Mm-hmm. But and honestly, if you're going to go down the marsh, you better have something that can remove poison, or you better have a way of getting up and out there. I mean, dive in marsh with that. Oh gosh, fade. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yep. We're going to dive marsh.
Well, it feels pretty good, at least on its Paranoia side, because again, you've got the white mage and the red mage. That fade rolls into both of those slots. While the nuke is going to do more damage, you still have fade as kind of a backup spell for your red mage, and then we have temper level. Fast, we have temper, we got warp at level, we have great early magic, and that's gonna feel good. That's gonna make things go.
Damage all over the place. We got high damage all over the place. I mean, literally, this run is gonna be like a day at the drag. I mean, we're not gonna see any kind of slow mo in here.
No, I definitely have to agree with you. These guys are not slowing down. They are going to be going. The only thing I would say is its Paranoia is going to go do the Astos turn-in. I like this as an initial play because you want to see what key items are available in case you have to do any other NRC turn-ins like TNT, Adamant, or Crystal before you go to those places and actually check those boxes for the canal.
And I can pretty well say Astros right now is probably going to find out why much Paranoia is feared in Dragon Warrior, because he's going to get pwned like the Dragon Lord instead of him pwning.
Absolutely, I could not agree with that statement more. Mohawk guy getting in Durrun's way. Get out of the way, sir. I'm just trying to save at the end. What are you thinking? All right, luckily he gets out of there, saves his game. He's going to get out of here. More than likely hit up Elfland as well. We got a canoe. Wow. Okay, that changes the game right now.
Are you thinking volcano and ice?
I mean, those are incentive locations. They are there. So you've opened up now 3 incentive locations. Plus, Volcano arguably has more chest density than any of the other dungeons you can currently get to. So, me personally, with the spell layout, with the nuke, the fade, the warp, I mean, no brainer. Go on ahead, talk to the sages, and then head up Volcano. You could probably still kill carry with all these nuke and fade charges.
And what cave? That cave don't exist, man. That cave don't exist.
Yeah, and Elmarkin pointing out the sea pirates have Cure 4 and Sleep, just slowing Durrun down, just annoying them. I just want to thank everybody that's out here. I mean, we've got a lot of people in chat right now. Nightwind's Song is hanging out here. Yeah, talking about Astos. Elmarkin, of course, is our tracker today. Q is my comms partner. I'm Gregory Puff. We're hanging out here on Speed Gaming 2, doing a little Swiss action here on Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. It's a lot of fun. I'm super excited. One of these guys is going to get their first win this tournament. The other one, unfortunately, is going to go 0-3, and the only chance that they have to make it to brackets is to win 3 more games in a row and somehow place in the last chance qualifier.
I hate to say it, but Durrun's got a bit of a bigger mountain to climb than much Paranoia from what I'm seeing right now. There's definitely a distinct advantage in knowledge and skill translation going on from much Paranoia.
Yeah, I mean, Durrun had never played the game before coming into the tournament, and I called his very first race, and you could tell he wasn't familiar with the game at all. So between his first run in week 1 and his run now in week 3, he is infinitely better than he was then. So I applaud him for being able to soak in the knowledge that he has soaked in over these last few weeks and is able to be doing as good as he's currently doing right now. It's Paranoia picking up Wall, which I mentioned, did not notice at level 4, which is a huge pickup as well. If we don't find ribbons, you can always throw a wall on somebody, which does basically the same thing as a ribbon.
Looks like we're going to do a town drop before we're going into Volcano and Ice, which I will say, it might be a little bit of a roundabout way, but hey, at least he's picking up another story-based item in this town, and being able to save it is also not bad.
Yeah, I know some people prefer to avoid the river system at all costs, which is what I assume it's Paranoia was doing there. It's definitely quicker to go on the river system to get to Crescent. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You definitely stop at Crescent first. You see what's available. We already know the Oxyel's for sale, so you don't really have to check the vendor stuff unless you need camping gear. You don't really need the magic right now because A, you don't have the money, and B, you don't have the levels to use the magic, but you definitely need the key item from the sages, and right now it looks like we're getting a rod. So that's another go mode item. We have the loot, we have the rod, and we have the Oxyel. All we're missing in our little key to the end of the game is, of course, the key, the chime, and the cube.
Right now, currently, I'm starting to think the floater is going to be in a box somewhere in this game.
Well, that is a quite astute statement. I could not agree with that more. I think that a box will definitely hold our floater. It could either be Ice Cave, or it could be Volcano, or the canal could be loose somewhere, and the floater could be down in Ordeals or Waterfall, or it could be just loose anywhere.
I'm feeling it's probably going to be either Waterfall or Ordeals. I don't believe this seed's just going to slap out a floater this quickly with the rod sitting right there at this location. So I'm feeling this up.
So it's Paranoia is doing kind of a safe strategy that I said yesterday I don't quite agree with. I don't like the Crescent grind when Volcano's right there with 2 spike tiles that you could probably get levels at, and you can also check all those chests that are in there and just keep the game kind of going. But again, not feeling super comfortable with their levels, so maybe they just want, grab a few initial levels.
Hey,
before hitting a volcano.
hey! He's at level 6 right now. He's probably not. He's probably thinking, hey, you know, if I wipe in either one of those dungeons, I'm gonna be wasting my time.
Yeah.
Literally, you know, if I was at level 6 and I knew I had a forest full of trolls, bulls, and giants that can feed me a ton of EXP, and not to mention the gold. I think this is a pretty safe bet right here. I mean, take it nice, slow, and steady, and get the Topher, run that right there like a beast, and look at this as more of a marathon than a sprint.
Yeah, I mean, right now though he's level 9. He's got plenty of warp charges. He's got plenty of exit charge or fade charges and nuke charges. He's getting ambushed by these Peds. He needs to go on ahead. In my opinion, needs to go on ahead, put the pedal to the metal, get inside a volcano, and see what's happening in there. And then get your levels along the way.
All in due time. All in due time.
All in due time. I agree. You know, luckily he's pretty far ahead. He's got plenty of money now. He's gonna go on ahead and probably pick up some camping gear. The cabins are way expensive. He should be able to afford 2 houses and maybe like 10 cabins. Grab a bunch of heals to deal with all the damage tiles in Volcano and Ice. And then, yeah, I mean, we have a ton of incentive locations we can go to right now. With the warp, you can go on ahead and do the warp trick in Ice Cave, check those 3 chests, and then get the rest of the 13 chests on your way out. With Volcano, you have 30 chests or so that are in there, and with so many damage tiles, you're not going to take very many encounters in there because you're going to avoid those encounters by stepping on the damage tiles. So it's Paranoia is finally getting out of Crescent, going to get ambushed by Bays, let him beat him up a little bit before he decides to nuke him down. No, he's going to run away. He's got a house. I'm surprised he doesn't just... But... And he resets out, which I didn't see that coming either. And gets ambushed by Cobras. Just going ahead and reset out of that as well. Over on Durrun's side, looks like he's finally checking out some of this magic. Got enough money to pick up Wall. He did a little overworld grind in an area that I feel like anybody that grew up playing this game in the 1990s remembers doing that overworld grind all too well. Sitting outside of Elfland, grinding arachnids and asps and
ogres that basically drop almost nothing.
Yeah. But obviously able to get enough money, he's going to pick up some weaponry, get some magic, try to get out of here. Hellmark pointing out, we didn't mess with no asps. You are not wrong. I think they gave like 50 gold or something stupidly low.
Something around there.
Yeah. It's Paranoia, goes in without saving. Not a big fan of that play, but we'll see how it pans out for him.
Paranoia, you're not doing Dragon Warrior, man. You gotta do some save, man.
Yeah, I think he realized it because he's walking right out of there and saving. Goes right back in, comes right back out. It's fine. It's all good. We're going to throw some tents down and call it a day.
There we go. Now you're thinking.
And Almarkin pointing out something that I mentioned earlier. Oh, nice. Hugging the wall. Realized that he was not hugging the wall. Went back down. Hugging the wall is super important. So you want to stay along the walls, like the southern walls of places, so that you don't get any encounters, because those are free. Oh my God, we got Sarias! That's a big news right there. That is a good... And he runs away! That's just free XP. What is happening?
I don't think he knows the grind tables. I really don't believe he does.
And that's
but then again, that might be one of the reasons why he's got a 0-2 on him.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that yet, but yeah, I mean, that could potentially be one of the issues. And plus, he's running Fighter Rainbow, which means he doesn't necessarily need a grind tile. Now, for Durrun, if he knows, I know he's newer to the community, but if he knows that Sarias usually are pretty weak and give out decent enough experience, he can go in there with that black belt and be able to grind some levels like crazy with these with this Fade and Nuke.
That's a no-brainer call right there, and I have to agree. Durrun, if he's got any kind of RPG sense, he's going to see those. He's going to see those Durrun, and then basically just eat them all alive. It's
Yeah.
gonna be it's gonna be a lizard dinner for 10.
Yeah, so absolutely, and I would murder all the lizards if I was running this seed. You know, you get the black belt, and that's kind of the risk of running the black belt because we do have shuffled spike tiles with B-side encounters, so they're not the same encounters that exist in the vanilla game. Sorry is obviously being one that doesn't exist, and that's one of those enemies you don't typically take, because I think glance or have stone touch or something nonsense like that. But since everything's shuffled, Sarias can just be weak. They just attack and that's it, and roll pretty low in health and give decent enough experience. It's a great grind tile. Great grind tile. Even with its paranoia, like if its paranoia had come in here before doing the whole thing in Crescent, seen that Saria and like expended all of their nuke and fade charges, they would have gotten way more levels way quicker than doing that overworld grind in front of Crescent.
No arguments from me.
And doing all the stuff, checking all the boxes. Luckily for its paranoia, I didn't see anything crazy good. I saw some pretty decent armor, but for the most part, no canal coming out of those 5 boxes there. And Elmark and our tracker point now, we got a flame armor and volcano armory. Its paranoia needs to heal up. I know we picked up heals in Crescent. Let's get your guys healed up so you don't take any unnecessary wipes as he gets to level 11. Good levels so far. Gonna think about what he wants to do. We've got the warp charges, so we can get out of here pretty easily. Gets out. You got a house. What do you... Use your house. There you go. All right, we got the house used. We're going back in. Now, here's the thing. What if the canal was here the whole time? Durrun being our first runner at the almost 20-minute mark to check these 3 chests here in Toph.
If the canal is here, then he's got a clear path to reveals without having to have the floater. If the floater is here, then that's I pretty much marked that up as a blessing from the gods and goddesses. But if nothing's here, then basically you got carried down. That's not a waste of time.
Yeah. Luckily, it ended up being fine for its paranoia anyway. Its paranoia taking the unusual route through this particular volcano floor. Durrun finding kind of nothing in these chests. He checked these 8 chests, the 3 in Matoyas, the 3 in Toph, and the 2 in Dwarves Cave, and didn't really come out with any.
Topher is like one of the least viable places to actually take a look. Take a look into chess for. I mean, seriously, I think that's more of a desperation play, in my personal opinion. And it's a burn of time. I mean, literally, if I was doing a run, the last place I'd be taking a look at would be Topher's chest. I'd be going down in Marsh Cave and digging in there before I took anything from Topher.
All right, we got a French vanilla tile here, as the red dragon tile happens to be on the Agama tile, so that's kind of weird. This is the one where you can roll 2 to 4 red dragons, and red dragons hit hard as its paranoia found out really hard as Ing gets just completely walloped, and now he's down 1 nuke charge and 1 warp charge. Able to get away from that battle, and gonna go on ahead and just try to get through the rest of this dungeon, as Durrun trying to take whatever money he got, whatever gear he got, and pick up these last couple of spells before deciding what he wants to do next. I am certain he has not done the crown turn-in, because I don't see Canoe lit up. So maybe he's just taking his time before taking on Astos, which it looks like he's heading up that way right now. Elmark, and I don't want to talk about Sky 4 until we get there. I don't like to spoil races, so we'll talk about Sky 4 and Ice 2 once Sky 4 and Ice 2 happen, okay? And Rojo here. Rojo, I called his race last night, and, he probably is still having a little bit of PTSD from certain things that happened during that race, which I will not spoil right now. But I do recommend checking it out on Speed Gaming 6, I think is what we were on. Head over there, check out Rojo versus JLo 7. It was definitely, as Durrun finally getting his canoe. Gonna take on Astos. This should go pretty easily for him because he's got Fade and Nuke. Fade charge 108 and Astos is down. Poor It's Paranoia takes a wipe on an Agama and has to redive this whole area. Luckily, again, did not see a whole lot of anything that It's Paranoia would want to keep, so should be able to make a beeline straight for that incentive chest.
I don't believe that we're going to see any kind of movement right now. I think that everybody right now is. I mean, Durrun right now, he's got a lot of work. He's got a lot of walking to do and a lot of decisions to make, as well as figuring out if he's going to head towards down, he's going to head towards a volcano, he's going to head towards ice cave. And right now, the way I'm seeing it, Paranoia right now is banging his head against his keyboard, trying to get all the way down to carry without wiping.
Yeah, and Durrun, unfortunately, just because of his being relatively new to the community and his novice experience with the game, is going to go on ahead and do a marsh dive. Now, granted, we don't know what's in Marsh Cave right now. Marsh could have our canal. It could possibly have the canal. Granted,
Durrun's either going to get is either going to get the biggest amount of luck this tournament's ever seen, or he's going to be basically burning his time and having a really bad run up.
Yeah, I mean, you could always ask Rojo about how Marsh went last night. Again, I don't want to give away spoilers, but you could shoot him a message. Just in the Discord chat, look up Rojo and just type Marsh ? At him and see how he reacts. I promise you, it's gonna be fine. He's a good guy. He's gonna totally accept that message with open arms. Just gonna be a big fan of it is all I'm getting at. So we got a cabin coming out of here. It's Paranoia making it down to the incentive chest pretty quickly. We know we got to get through our dragons first. That ambush. Oh, Ive is almost. I've almost got like completely walloped there. Luckily didn't. Gonna throw some nukes and whatever out. Durrun not hugging the wall and much as this in real. Hugging the wall is huge if you're gonna save yourself some encounters. All right, Top Marsh has nothing.
3 little words say nothing more.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got a chime, which is like a big pickup. Unfortunately, lost a couple of light warriors in the process. I think with nukes and fades, he might be able to take on carry. I mean, the chime is a required item. You need it to get through the rest of the game.
It's seriously going to depend on on what carry has spun out. I mean, literally, we haven't seen that bad of a trash lineup, so I'd be kind of wary of going into a den with carry and potentially having a iron wall sitting there with nuke and stuns and poison and every other diabolical technique that must be in Carrie's arsenal.
Unfortunately, running into a bunch of bull, and not only running into that, has no pure pots to cure his poison status. He doesn't have enough warp charges to get, and he just resets out. That is unfortunate. You hate to see that. And man, taking on this, like in this situation, take a couple Saria battles with the nukes and fades, warp out, hit a house, go back levels, and then be able to get that chime and kill carry. I think might have been a good call on his part.
I would agree. I would completely agree with that statement that the potential grind there is definitely worth having, but it depends on the runner. I mean, seriously, we're kind of at a standstill right now of movement because of the fact that we're literally finding out what's available to us, what's going to be conquerable, what's going to conquer us.
Yeah. And it looks like Durrun's still making his way through Marsh Cave, checking all the chests. Hopefully has a map. Yeah, he has a map in front of him, so he knows that he can check these 2 chests. He already checked the link chest there. That needs to heal up his black mage, as It's Paranoia knows the chime is down in Volcano. Knows he probably can't make much of a play down there after wiping twice down there. So he's going to try it. He's going to hedge his bets on Ice Cave at this point, looking for that elusive floater. Oh! Durrun! Big brain fine, gets the canal, is going to be able to get out of the inner sea. And if the canal is required to get out of the inner sea, if the floater is not an Ice Cave, then Durrun has just gotten a huge advantage.
And as told, basically, there's an unlikely chance that floater will be an Ice Cave. And with that means, and with Durrun having the canoe right now, full path to Ordeals, full path to Onrak, full path to Waterfall.
Yeah, pretty much at this point, Durrun can go anywhere with the canoe and the canal. He can go anywhere except for any floater locked areas, which are Gaia, Lafane, which we haven't seen the bottle or the slab, so that doesn't matter anyway. And we can't go to the Cardia Island. And we don't have the tail, so it does not really matter. Durrun, big find on his part, getting that canal. Hopefully we'll be able to get out of here. One of his people is poisoned. He's got pretty decent level, and these bones aren't really boning him.
I'm suspecting that Durrun probably wishes he had charges for exit right now, or had exit. I don't know if he's got it or not right now. I can't remember his spell list, but oof.
Yeah, he should have charges for warp on his black mage, but I don't know if he ended up exhausting them all using other things or not. He should have, at least at level 8, should have had like 2 or 3 charges of warp. Should have been able to get out of there pretty quickly after finding that canal. Has no pures, but should have no issues getting back to Elfland as long as he saves regularly.
Let the black mage die. Go ahead and resume Elfland. Come on.
Yeah, and according to chat, raids are pretty ugly, and It's Paranoia. Oh my God, my favorite person. He's going down and left. That's what you do in Ice 2. It is always down and left. All those people that go left and down don't even know what's happening in the world. And here comes the trances from these wraiths, and luckily missing on the red mage and the white mage, but they got put to sleep. So this is going to suck. Wraiths have heat right after packing the heat after trance. And sleep, so they got a skills and a spells list, the heat and the sleep coming out.
I think Paranoia is going to be having some life decision considerations and not hitting Marsh Cave, and especially if Vern gets a couple of ribbons. Oh boy, this is not going to look pretty for Paranoia.
Yeah, so It's Paranoia, unfortunately, had to get out of that battle because those wraiths started throwing rub out. And at that point, it's just like, I got to get out of here. Durrun has so much stuff he can do right now. He can get over to the Sages, which he hasn't been to yet, and pick up his rod. He can do the Ruby turn-in, which is going to net you the Sarda check and the Ruby check. And he can go to Ordeals, he can go to Waterfall, he can go to Ice Cave, and he can go to Volcano. Like I said before, Durrun has really gotten here by checking Marsh Cave. It's not a play most people would make. Marsh Cave, not a huge dungeon, but not very many chests to check. So it ended up being a great overall like Galaxy Brain play that he made, and it worked out for him. His images have poison. Get out of here with that. Just get out of this dungeon. There's nothing in ice. You're going to get through it, and there's going to probably be a Thor's hammer or something. Just get out of here. You don't need to deal with the damage poison. Go to Marsh and get your canal. You got this. And mummies have slow. They're just going to waste everyone's
This is not looking pretty at all.
So everything that is in this place rolled spells and skills. As we get wizards, hopefully they just do vanilla things and punch.
XXX.
Yeah, exactly. A little quad X, some other thing. Oh my god, he's not. Look at it, look at that. He like totally just like looked at the screen there for a second, was like, "Ooh, I don't know about this battle." Oh, that's good. That's good. Turn order nuke comes out. That's
maybe some EXP here.
yeah. And Durrun, I don't know if he picked up his Oxiel. That's a big deal too, is remembering the vendor item is a thing. And it's Paranoia's point, going south. But at this point, I kind of feel bad. Maybe he should have gone left and down and got better RNG. And I know that's crazy coming out of me because I'm always the down and left kind of person. But this ice cave is not treating him well. And Elmar can point out that he did pick up the Oxiel. He is going to be the first person out of the inner sea at the 33-minute, 52-second mark. This is some good stuff right here. Yeah, so what I was saying was that if Ice has floater, then he's good to go. He can get out of this place. He be good to go.
You better pray for it.
With the canal being in the inner sea, it may be unlikely that the floater is also here. We won't know yet until he can make it to that incentive chest. He's right there next to the room. He's got warp charges, should be able to do it. Did not throw a nuke charge out. I'm not sure what that was all about. As all his people get put to sleep, and here comes poison damage, and that's going to do it. Ing is down. We've just got Ive stunned and not with 3 hit points, and he exits out of that. He's going to have to redive on his 4th dive. That is unfortunate as Durrun feeds the Titan the Ruby. Gonna check this first incentive location here, be in Titan Shrove. And will make his way over to Sarda and check the second incentive item he can get here. Got a silver. We got some money. Got more money. TNT. Somebody in chat called that the floater was behind TNT. I don't remember who it was. It was this person. Whose name I cannot say because there's a J and an S, and I'm too American to figure that out. So I'm just gonna, we'll call you. Julita. I'm not gonna butcher your name. I'm sorry, but anyways, you called it. We're gonna see if it ends up being a reality. As Durrun heads over to Sarda and tries to figure out what the incentive location is here. We get the warp trick. Moment of truth.
Okay.
Power bonk. No! I mean, the power bonk is great, but it's not what it's Paranoia wants to see right now. Oh, Sulieta. I hope I said that right. I tried my best. It's Paranoia. It's got to be bummed out, but it's got to check the rest of these 13 chests in here, thinking that maybe the canal is in here as well. We all know that the canal is not down here. Got a house and a silver. Gonna have to go back through those Tibers and Saber Tees. Durrun picks up a crystal, so a couple more turn-ins he can do here. Both inner sea turn-ins, so that shouldn't be too hard to do. Doing the TNT and the crystal with warp. I'll look at his inventory. Gonna use a house. Smart move. It's Paranoia. Gets ambushed by Fru Wolves. I don't know, man. What do you do if you're It's Paranoia? You know the chime is in Volcano, and you just found the power bonk and the incentive item here in Ice Cave. Where do you know that it's got to be Marsh unless it's one of these chests? How do you feel at this point?
If I was Paranoia, I'd be considering the places that I did not want to dive into. I'd be considering the places that basically I was gritting my teeth at the whole time. Kind of like Canuck, how he grits his teeth. I believe much probably take a dive down into a marsh cave just to take a quick look, because right now everything he's facing right now is tearing him up. I mean, literally right now he's got literally he might be able to make it, but I mean it's he's got a tall order.
Oh man, we got the oh my gosh, we got the pale horse and his rider over here on its Paranoia side. No one likes as hopefully gonna be able to get away from this horrible fight, take it down, get some XP. Durrun knows what he needs to do, gonna pick up some level 5 magic because he's got huge. It's Paranoia, basically a French vanilla check down here, because I think all I saw was money in those chests. And gets ambushed by another big old huge pack of Fruil wolves. Rob Draven, to answer your question, I'm not sure where the spell slots. I don't know my white mage spell slots well enough to know if the white mage could pick up Cure 4 without promotion. But yeah, I'm wondering the same question as well. Why pick up Cure 3 versus? Or the only thing to answer that question is that Durrun, this is literally probably the third seed he's ever played of Final Fantasy. The first being the first week of Swiss, and the second being the second week of Swiss. Or, like you said, it might have been a mistake. Durrun choosing not to do the Crystal and TNT turn and gonna head over to Crescent first. It's Paranoia is lost. Where you were right there next. Where are you going? Oh my god, more ambushing by these ambushing frost wolves. I'm pretty sure this is the number 8 encounter, so this is the rare encounter on this floor. And god, another ambush by Arbones, getting the Arbone treatment. The question from Belgrind, who's ahead? Belgian. Who's ahead? I couldn't tell you. As of right now, Durrun is ahead based on knowledge. Paranoia has more levels. I would say they're probably tied right now as far as what's going on. I would say Durrun for sure has the lead in the sense that he has more key items and has more turn-ins and is more than likely going to get the floater before its Paranoia does. and Celita helping me out here. The answer is yes. And Space Drake, the one and only Space Drake, is in chat with us, and it is impossible to tell. I mean, come on, we don't know what's happening for sure. Durrun making it into Crescent Lake. Doesn't have a lot of money. Not going to be able to really pick up anything here. Going to grab some cabins. 10 cabins. Good call on that. I like that play. And yeah, gonna get his rod from the sages, but then needs to still turn in the crystal and the TNT. So he's still got a couple of those turn-ins to do. Of course, the crystal you got to take to Matoya, and the TNT you got to take to Dwarf's Cave to the dwarf Narek to get whatever the key item happens to be. Irish Fox 13. Why not check those 3 chests? Probably just wanted to get out of there. And I don't like the play at all because they're right there and it's not too many steps away from it. But it's Paranoia. Probably doesn't feel good about how that ice cave just went. He just wants to kind of get out of there.
And those are the kind of moves that basically cost you matches. I mean, seriously, if it's only a few steps, grab them up, make sure you have an exit, or work the boot. But anyway, right now, Puff has taken a small step away. So I'm going to go ahead and call the shots here. It seems like our two combatants right now are taking down some fish. One's looks like both of them are leaving, or at least no, one's leaving the area. The other one's is coming in. So looks like Durrun is going to find out about the overpowered ice cave and the insane volcano. As far as Paranoia right now, let's see if he hasn't figured out that he needs to go to Marsh. And it looks like Durrun right now is pecking away at some geist and wipes them off at fairly simple pace. While Paranoia right now is doesn't like he's trying to farm up. I'm thinking he might be. I think he might be having some, like I said, some life choices, some life choice reconsiderations. If I were him, literally, I'd take a moment, sit back, think of where he hasn't been, because I mean, right now, yeah, he knows where the chime is. The chime ain't going to do anything for him. His ship is caught in the middle of a landmass, and he needs to be able to get out and spread about a bit. So I mean, I'm hoping Paranoia finally figures finally takes a moment to think about it and does just that. But until then, I think we're going to be in a bit of a stagnation with Paranoia right now. Durrun right now is going up into the armory, tearing apart some wolves right now. I would say more than likely he's probably going to go down, find that incentive chest with that chime, and then try to tackle Carrie. Let's hope that butt belt helps him a bit more than what the red mage is for Paranoia in this particular dungeon.
Yeah, so if I was Durrun right now, I'd have to say, first off, obviously just completely checking out on the idea of doing the TNT and Crystal turn-in. It's Paranoia has figured out it's got to be Marsh at this point to get the canal, so he's heading the right direction. Durrun with the black belt and the nuke and fade charges can get some really massively quick levels here if he goes and takes these Sarias on, which we know are on the fire tile. They are a free tile to check because it is next to a wall, which if you go up and down on that, you're not going to get any off tile encounters doing the Saria grind. He can gain some massive levels and get a huge advantage.
Unfortunately, I think he's already passed it, and I don't think it's even registered on his radar.
Yeah, unfortunately, the fires do only appear on that one floor that fire tile specifically I was talking about is only on that one floor, so he will not see that anymore unless he dives back in, which I doubt will happen. Is
what? Okay, looks like as quoting "White Man Can't Jump," the sun did shine on the dog's ass today.
Yeah, so it looks like he is going to go on ahead, and I'm not sure what he's doing. He's probably looking at his maps. Because like I said before, a little bit more of a novice player, very new to the community, new to the randomizer itself, probably just wants to make sure that he's good to go before re-diving Volcano, make sure he knows what chest he needs to check as far as incentives are concerned. And yeah, so he's going to go back in and keep going as he gets that fire and speaking of fires, he gets the fire encounter on this floor, which is the number 8 encounter, the very rarest of the rare. It's Paranoia is going to finally make his way down to Marsh at the close to 50-minute mark, about, a little bit over 7 minutes. And it's going to finally be greeted by the good news good in the sense that he can finally keep it moving, but not so good in the sense that he basically last location is canal. He's gonna get his canal down here.
Now let's go ahead and take consideration here and admit something. Neither player is really playing like they have everything on a go mode speed right now. What do you think is going on in each player's mind right now as far as next moves? I mean, honestly, I'm thinking Paranoia right now is trying not to go into Paranoia, into a frenzy. I'm hoping this move of going to Marsh Cave eliminates that. But what kind of mindset do you believe that our players have right now?
Well, I mean, Durrun, like I said before, relatively new. More than likely, his frame of I didn't notice this earlier, but that's going to be great when these guys find a tank. That's an end-game weapon right there.
There's a nice sword.
Yeah, I mean, Durrun is just thinking at this point he's got to do incentive checks. In his mind, he knows that Ice Cave and Volcano are incentive. Maybe unaware of where he needs to take the TNT and the crystal. Maybe wants to do these incentive checks first before doing the free incentive checks that are in the inner sea. I couldn't really tell you what he's thinking now. As far as its Paranoia is concerned, it's Paranoia, while again relatively new, more familiar with the Dragon Warrior randomizer, seems to be a little more versed in what's going on because did all the incentive checks and is now heading back into Marsh Cave knowing that the canal is here. I can guarantee you he's going to get the canal, gonna warp out, gonna do the ruby turn-in, get the crystal and the TNT, and is gonna do those inner sea turn-ins, the TNT and the crystal.
But
and more than like.
But do you actually think? Do you actually think that Paranoia is basically playing on Durrun's lack of experience and maybe thinking he has some margin of error?
I doubt that. I mean, when you're in this position where you're 0-2, all you're just trying to do is beat the game. You're just trying to get your first win. I don't think it has anything to do with any sort of hedging bets or anything. You're just playing to the best of your ability and not against anyone else's weaknesses or whatever. You're just trying to go out there and you're trying to do your absolute best. So far, man, it's Paranoia went all the way around to check that link chest. Like, didn't have to do that because that chest is linked with another chest that's in the next floor. If you pull up, you can look up any Final Fantasy FAQ. It'll give you the maps and it'll tell you which chests are linked with other chests here in Marsh. That way you don't have to do these kind of clears the way that it's Paranoia is doing. I don't have chat.
Hey, pretty much like we've already said, both players are still trying to get their green off them. So I mean, on that one, kind of got to give it to Paranoia. At least he knows where the chests are, and I'm hoping he knows where they're not.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't take too long for him to get to the canal. Unfortunately, Durrun getting beat up by this R-Giant, only down to his fighter and his white mage. Hopefully, well, he's out of warp. Warp doesn't exist in his mind anymore. Does not have exit, so he's just going to have to keep pushing through. Uses heal 3, which has all his fade charges. So he's not going to have going into this carry battle if he decides to keep going.
I'd say under 20%.
Yeah, that's no good. Heading back, he's a little lost in here. I think he's going to walk it out. I think he realizes he's in trouble. He's going to have to walk it out, which I actually like this play. I like this play. Take your levels. He needs to stay on this damage tiles, though. Damage tiles don't move the encounter table along. Taking the scenic route. Soft, and we know that the next room here, it's this room coming up on its Paranoia side that has the canal. So he's going to find a body of water, a river, a small river, and a box. I'm confused by this.
Let's just call it time manipulation magic, and enough said.
Mm-hmm. And there he goes. He's got his canal. He's got the information. Does he check these last few boxes? He's only got 2 boxes to check. He's got the incentive marsh check, which is not incentivized, but that's just what we call it when we're talking about the check. Got scums. That's French vanilla if I've ever seen it. Scums with fire. That's annoying. What? Rojo, are you still here?
Hell?
Where's
What?
Rojo? He needs to be here. Oh my god! Look at him! What? Luckily, the tail is not required, but still kind of required for these parties because you don't know what kind of stuff you're gonna get. Wow! What a Galaxy Brain play on its Paranoia part.
And Durrun basically passed that up. I think once he saw the canal, he basically went, "Nope, I'm out of here."
Yeah, but at least Durrun has the black belt. If he can't find the tail, the black belt is his backup strat. He can level that black belt up to like 1,000,000 and then punch his way through everything. This is insanity. I can't even handle life right now. What is even happening? This is 2 races in a row that the loose item has been behind or in the crown check. I can't even handle it, and that is a spoiler, and I'm sorry for all of my people out there listening to me, giving away things. Don't tell people. It's just crazy. This is insanity. Is it the last loose item? No, because the canal is inherently loose. The canal always will be loose, so we don't count the canal as part of the loose items. We need to find 2 loose items that aren't the canal. So we've only found our first loose item. And right now, what do we need? We need the cube to be in go mode, right? Oh no, the cube and the key. We haven't seen the key yet. And Elmarket helping me out here in chat, letting me know cube and key is what we're looking for. I want to thank Irish Fox for joining us. Irish Fox 13 hanging out and chat with us. The Space Drake, one of the newer members of our community, a duckling, hanging out, watching this awesome race between 2 newer members as well. And yeah, I mean, chat's been bustling, man.
No, that's mine.
Are you still there, Puff?
Yes, I am. I'm still here. I was just watching the action, seeing how things are going.
Oh, I heard your little one behind you. I thought you may have been clumped over the head with a high chair.
Probably, but we're going to be fine.
All right, so pretty much it seems kind of like we're still hanging around. We're still hanging around that the areas of over on Durrun's side, the area of volcano and ice cave. Looks like right now we're going up into the Titan's mound, and there we go. Crunch, crunch. Ruby's gone. Let's see what we can get as far as our boxes. Silver, gold, TNT. Yes. Oh yeah. Now, I want to know how much of it. Okay, who was it who basically said that TNT is hiding floater? Because we might find that one.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that was, I can't say that person's name because I'm having a hard time, but I'm sure they will.
So there
they are, right there.
Yes.
That was me. Sulienta?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, we're going to go with Sulienta. We're going for it.
It definitely has a Spanish. Oh, so it might be more South Korean.
Sulita, of course. Well, duh. What was I even thinking at this point? And
pronunciation.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We want to make sure that if we call anybody out in chat and mention them by name, that we can say their name properly. So we appreciate that. Sulita for hanging out with us. Irish Fox, of course, here. L Markin is our tracker today. We've got Q, because I told him before we started this that he was going to get his name right one time. And I said it at the very beginning of the broadcast. And at this point, we were going with Q. Q is my comms partner hanging out with me. We're having a blast here on Speed Gaming 2. Q, are you having a blast on Speed Gaming 2?
Sir, I had a blast with Dang Wu last night. I'm telling you, I literally thought I'd be faint. I would have fainted during that matchup between Hangry and who else was it? Dear God, it's my brain.
Yeah,
Can't remember who else it was.
I don't remember either. I know it was a Paradown. I think it was Black Knight or Russian Bishop.
Ex-Russian Bishop, yes.
Well, actually, speaking of which, don't mean to cut you off, but since we're basically seeing things we've already seen in the game, it's Paranoia is doing things that Durrun has already done. Let's talk about the Speed Gaming schedule for a little bit. First things first, I mean, I'd love for you to hang out with me and Q as we call this race, but over on Speed Gaming right now we've got Danny 3883, or as people affectionately call her 3883, taking on a lap over on Speed Gaming 3. You've got Cyrinus, the guy that bested me last week, taking on Demarine 2 over on Speed Gaming 3. Later on today on Randomania 1 at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, you've got Algebrap taking on Sledge Kalami, another para-down battle. And then on Randomania 2 at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, you've got Life Reboot taking on One Fine Day. Also at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time on Speed Gaming 3, you have Sonny Wrath 11 taking on Brodster, another 2-0 match. And the big one, in my opinion, one of the biggest matches we have this particular week, we've got 2-0 Shadow Walker 227 taking on Spellzap over on RPG Limit Break. Silverfire's going to be doing the restream on that. It's going to be pretty awesome. 9 p.m., 2 more races happening. That'll be the end of our night on SG2. You've got Lord Fizzlebeef taking on Wab 1024, and you've got Kenny Star 76 taking on L Markin on SVJ's personal Twitch account, St. Von Jester. Look it up as a Final Fantasy After Dark special that I am super stoked about. It's Paranoia. Looks like he turned in the TNT, and I completely missed it. What happened?
Yep. You did, and I was basically trying to catch what was going on, and I even missed what.
It looks like it was the Thor's Hammer. Elmarkin, our amazing tracker today, helping me out, knowing what's going on, because I clearly don't. So that's one completely worthless check. The crystal's got to turn into something, right?
Hey! I just wanted to throw some light on some of our most underappreciated members. The trackers are awesome. Thank you very much. I know I have a tracker sitting up from King Gamers Lounge. I must admit, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for making sure that we're basically not making complete idiots of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, and the tracker really does help us out. If we do have an issue where we miss something, where I'm trying to call off future races, because it is Spring Tournament 2020, we have 36 races a week, and I want to make sure that I hype each one of them up. So I could miss some things while I'm calling them off. Crystal, it leads to the bottle. We still got to get a floater. Oh my God, these guys are both back to square one at this point. At least it's Paranoia knows for sure.
We don't need floater. We don't need the floater for. We don't need the floater for. No, yes, we do, don't we?
We need. No. Yep, we need the floater to turn in the bottle. We haven't seen the slab yet. We've seen the two. We've seen at least one dud item in the Thor's Hammer. Oh no, we've seen two. We've seen the Power Bonk as well. So Opal Cheerio could be that last loose item.
I think I know where the floater is.
Well, it's going to be Ordeals or Waterfall. Yeah, it's Ordeals or Waterfall.
Sky.
Oh yeah, we do have the chime on the table. Neither runner has the chime currently because its Paranoia had to exit out of Volcano after taking a wipe, and Durrun, similar situation, got out of there before even getting to the chime and is now clearing Earth.
I think we're in for a long 3-hour show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with the way the schedules are happening, we are going to try our best to run a 3-hour show. If it ends up running 3 hours, we're going to have to give the channel back to Speed Gaming because we have other things happening. We're going to try our best. We're going to hope for the best for these two. I doubt it's going to go 3 hours, but you never know.
I'm hoping somebody finds that flitter, because if they don't, and it's in Sky, we're in for a long haul. And Oxiel just got found. Just got bought up.
What? Okay, sorry. It's Paranoia picked up his Oxiel. He's going to get... He's not even going to deal with Earth Cave, which I don't blame him, because there's nothing incentivized there. There's only 24 chests, and it's Paranoia already knows that he's got one loose item in the tail. So he doesn't really need to do any sort of like loose item hunt. He needs to get these incentive items. He needs to check ordeals. He needs to check waterfall. He needs to see if he can find the floater in one of those two things and then do that bottle turn in to see what he needs. Because right now he knows chime. He left chime in Volcano. He needs the cube and he needs the key. Now, this could be one of those situations where the floater is completely loose, and we can find the key and the cube in these last two checks, and Chime being in Volcano means he's in go mode without the floater, and this could be a floaterless seed. It could happen. I don't know if it will, but it could happen.
I don't know I don't know how I feel about that, because without the upgrades and of how this seed is actually looking, it could be a 50-50 shot. We could have we could have a paper tiger of a chaos, or we could have a chaos who could basically spit nails in the middle of the night.
Man, and these saber teas that it's Paranoia saw earlier, throwing out poison, takes a wipe, and he did not save on the overworld. He's got to sail all the way back down from Canaria. That is unfortunate. You hate to see that, and that's crazy because we saw Saber Tease on his screen when he was in Ice Cave earlier on a spike tile and never saw the poison damage. Luckily, remembering to pick up the Oxiel before moving on, and this is why Asher 1611 says, safety saves, save lives. Always save your way down to places because you never know when something like that's going to happen and you lose a good 2 or 3 minutes of time because you take a wipe.
And a good 2 or 3 minutes of time can lose you a race. I mean, seriously, how many times have we seen this play? This basically, people just not saving, just playing the match, acting like the save button's not even there. I'm telling you, Dragon Warrior strats. It's some of this stuff can translate, but the whole idea of doing saves is not going to translate here.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And I've just now noticed on Durrun's screen, he's clearly not going to go black belt strats because this black belt's been eating dirt for a good 15 or 20 minutes at this point. So he really needs that loose tail that he will never find because it's in Marsh Cave in those 2 chests he didn't check. And man, that is rough. That is just rough to see it play out like this. But Durrun making his way through Earth, killing the vampire. I didn't even call the match between him and the vampire because who would call such a thing? It's like calling, an adult versus a child. You know what's going to happen. Durrun is going to use his rod and continue his way down towards Lich. We know what these images have too. At this point, Ailmarkin, help me out here. I'm thinking the poison is on the Medusa script because only one enemy in the game has poison, and that's the gas dragon. So if you see poison land on multiple regular enemies, then it's got to be on that script. It's wow, that's rough times. So I want to talk about the Medusa script real quick. We call it that because, well, yeah, it's the Medusa script. But basically, in the original game, I think Medusa's had like Dazzle and something like. And the game, instead of like kind of like shuffling everything, it kind of moves it onto a specific enemy's script, right? And there's 3 enemies that have this said Medusa script. But if ugly spells and or skills land on that Medusa script, then that means that 3 enemies in the game will have that particular skill or spell or whatever. As we see in the original game, poison damage is usually only wielded by 1 enemy, which is the gas dragon. Well, since it landed on the Medusa script, it's going to land on 3 enemies. And that, of course, we've already seen is the images and the saber tease, and we have not seen the we haven't seen the 3rd enemy. And we're just going to hope it's not anything in Topher. And as Rojo pointing out in chat, yeah, that's a brutal time to take a wipe. You've made it through the you have made it through the vampire. You are on your way to kill a lich, and then you just take a unfortunate wipe on some poison damage images. Gosh. But Durrun doing like the Sphinx, the ambushing Sphinx.
Hey, Grizz. Hey, Puff, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just decided to stop talking for a second so I can let you say some stuff.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I had a call jump in while on stream. I apologize for that, but unfortunately, I am on a bit of a on-call schedule.
That is totally fine. Please take your time. Just let us know down from here if you can, let me know if you have to step away so that I can keep calling the action without thinking I'm talking over you. So we've got it's Paranoia gets through the Cerberus tile. We've got an opal helm, silver helm. The robot gives us the floater.
About time.
Yeah, that's a huge find on its Paranoia side. Now, the thing with this particular find is I'm glad he did this before ordeals. Now, typically, I would have done ordeals first and then made my way over to Waterfall, but this actually better for him because he can get out of here. He can save the game. He already knows he has the floater, and he can make his way over towards ordeals, do ordeals, and then head over to do the floater and then do whatever else he needs to do. So it actually works out. Durrun, damn, grinding Sphinxes. I never thought I'd see it in the history of Final Fantasy Randomizer. But again, relatively new player, and yeah, it's just what it is. He's being able to take down these Sphinxes pretty easily. It looks like they at least have under 143 health, but he's not getting.
So do you think that Durrun right now might be actually thinking level 42 black belt?
Oh.
Honestly, why bring a black belt if you're not gonna pump a whole heap of EXP into them?
Yeah, it's kind of my thing too. I mean, like I said, the Sarias were right there, and obviously that's something we're gonna have to talk about in post race chat. Just talk about why not the Sarias, because they were there. Again, they're not as great as Agamas, but they're a lot weaker than Agamas, and they still give decent enough XP to where you may as well just take them.
And we're at the 110 mark right now, and not one of our orbs are lit. So on this one, I think we're gonna. I think that powering up that black belt right now might be the best idea. Anyway, any of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, and Elmarkin, the slogan for Sarias next time they run for city council, Sarias not as great as Agamas. But it's Paranoia. Where is this Paranoia going? He's going south. That's not how you get to Crescent.
Now, I want to know if we have to go into overtime on this, can we judge and give a technical knockout on this?
No, there's no such thing as technical knockout. Obviously, we still have the SRO room set up. We will get a winner at some point. It's just that, if we go over our allotted time, which is 3 hours, because Speed Gaming is so packed with Link to the Past randomizer and Super Metroid randomizer and all these other races that are happening today, we may have to cut off at the 3 hour mark. I'm not sure yet. I have to look at the schedule and figure it out. We should be fine, but you just never know. One of these racers, in my opinion, will finish within the 3 hour mark.
I don't know. I seriously don't know right now.
Well, its Paranoia is in a good shape right now because its Paranoia has finally made it over to the Raycon Desert at the 1 hour, 12-minute mark, is going to take that floater, lift that airship out of the desert, and is going to finally be in the air. Again, we are in a moment right now. He needs to do the bottle turn in, right? So we got the bottle.
Yep. He's got a bottle. He's got a rat, and he also has a crystal. If I'm not mistaken, that he hasn't turned in.
No, its Paranoia did turn in the crystal. The crystal turned into the. I gotta look at my tracker notes real quick. The crystal turned into the bottle. So yes.
Okay, so crystal's already been taken care of. Bottle. If I'm not mistaken, he has not tried Earth yet, and he's also got to go reach on.
Yeah, I mean, right now, yes, exactly. Get this stuff going. Do the cardia checks. Do your tail turn in. Get promotion, which actually should have probably done before heading to Provoca, because you could do the promotion first, then head to Provoca and get all your charges on your night. Because we have some pretty decent spells there. We've got, well, not decent. We have Exfer. I mean, I guess, but still, it's something you could for your night. You don't want to go into those first 3 cities without a promoted class, so you can save a little bit of time. And again, going to Gaia beforehand, you can't pick up any of these spells anyway until after class change. So do the class change first, then start doing all this stuff, so you can kind of get it all knocked out in one go.
I couldn't agree anymore. This is basically kind of a noobish move here, but at least you can unbottle the fairy and find out what he's going to get for now. This, as well as see if
we got a French vanilla life 2 there, not in the
race,
but it is level 8 there. Not going to be able to pick it up. It is max price too, as if it could be any worse. And wow!
Pardon. What life 2? There is no life 2 in this.
Yeah, there is no
life 2 is not existent.
Yeah, I was gonna say there is no life 2. Only Zool, as they say. And its Paranoia, unfortunately, not going to be able to pick any of that stuff up, and is going to maybe have to come back for that stuff later if they want it. We got a slab, so kind of a easy-ish tournament, not really, because you got to go to Melman and then head your way back there. You hate to have to do these kind of routing things. Hopefully, he does the tail turn in first before going back to Melman.
I would have tossed that iron shield at that fairy and said, there's your gift for basically giving me this crappy return back to wherever.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you. Just throw a shield at that fairy. Be like, I don't want this piece of rock right now. This guy's going to teach me a dead language in less than a second. And then what am I going to do here? It's Paranoia again, heading into a city he does not need to be inside of right now. He needs to go to Melman, do the slab turn in. He needs to do the tail turn in before anything else.
Yeah, the tail turn in is basically the equivalent of rescuing the princess. Come on, dude, get together, man.
It's fine. You know, we're not gonna worry about that. We're gonna let its Paranoia do its thing, or their thing, as they keep it moving. And gonna keep checking armor. Durrun is gonna.
I'm wondering if I'm starting to wonder if he's seen something that's basically class locked right now, and he's was wanting to pick that one item up before he goes and does the selection.
Yeah, I mean, I'm checking my 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 notes right now. The only thing I can think of is maybe the gold bracelet. I know Durrun has a bunch of gold bracelets. Maybe he's looking for those first. But again, I mean, class change. It's what you got to do. The second you get in the air and you have the tail because you picked up that loose tail, you need to do that before anything. Get your tail done. Get your promotion done. Then start doing all these checks so you can get your levels on your knight. And then move on, do the slab turn in, all that fun stuff. Oh my gosh. Durrun finding a huge EXP tile here in the, I think this is the Sphinx tile in Earth 4. I want to say this is where you would find Sphinxes normally in the game. And if he can take them down, he'll be able to get some serious EXP. And Fades take down the Gur Sharks. That is a pinata pack if I've ever seen one. I mean, stun touch and hard hits aside, they had no
candy.
Yeah, and he is up to level 17 already. I don't know. You know those images are there with that crazy poison damage. I would... There's a part of me that's like, totally grind this up until you get to like 1,000,000 levels and then exit out and come back in. I mean, I know it's a slower play, but I'd hate for him to lose all these levels if he ends up hitting those images. And like Ailmarkin says in chat, yeah. And like Ailmarkin says in chat, you can go down and up and get free tile or like no off tile encounter because it's up against that wall. All right, looks like it's Paranoia finally found what he was looking for in the pro ring, the gold bracelets, both relatively inexpensive here in Melman, and hopefully going to do the slab turn-in as well. So he can move on. Fade coming out, Nuke coming out, just ripping these Sharks and Wissahags apart, getting even more levels. I mean, Durrun's levels are good. Like, I like those levels a lot. They get the point. I was gonna say.
I mean, literally, you can only farm a towel so long before it basically starts. You start seeing decrease. And yeah, that hurts. That hurts.
Oh, I
yeah.
called it. I called it. I was like, just get out of there and just maybe take your levels and run. You don't need to be here anyway. I feel so bad. Oh, losing all those levels. He's just sitting there thinking, like, what does he got to do? He's not sure. He's like I said, I feel like I've said this term relatively new a ton. Not really sure what to do.
Let's just say that he's having to. He's not learning why warp is king of spells when you're doing runs.
All right, Greg's got to step away for just a second, so I'm gonna come off of tracking duty and hop in voice here with you for a second, Q, just to keep things rolling and, you know.
Well, right now, Durrun is I think I've said this enough myself. I'm gonna say it one more time. Reconsidering life choices, as he basically just handed back like 4 levels of his time in life back to Chaos, and said he didn't need them. He's now taking a ship somewhere. We're not too sure where, but right now I was like. Paranoia has gotten that slab translated and is taking a look at the one. Whoa, that's expensive. Okay, there's no such thing as life or life 2 in this speed run.
Yeah, so to answer your question in chat from Irish Fox, so the slab came from the bottle, which came from the crystal, and the crystal came from Sarda. And as we saw, the slab is going to be required in this particular seed as a slab turned into the key. And yeah, it's one of those things where you hate to see that level 8 life magic you, but it's one of those reasons. That's why you like taking those white mages with you, especially in a nasty seed like this where everything seems to be front loaded.
Not only that, but life 2 and life are both level 8, and both are expensive as all cut loose. I mean, literally, that's just going to pair nicely if this Topher isn't a paper price.
Yeah, exactly. The only downside to life being in at level 8 magic shops is, one, you do have to class change and promote your white mage to a white wizard in order to learn it. But I believe you also have to hit mid-20s, like 24, 25.
And you only get one charge. And you only get one charge of it. And if I'm not mistaken, the level 8 charges happen like every it's either every 2 or 4 levels. So you're basically, if you're relying on resurrection to get you through the pains and miseries of Fiends Revisited, and reevaluate yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, you got to just be using life as a in your pocket kind of last ditch maneuver, essentially, for getting through Topher. With Fade being where it is and Nuke being where it is, you really just have to deal with damage for your end game. But in the meantime, though, we see Durrun going back to the volcano. He's going to try and make his way back down. I don't think he's seen what's in the incentive volcano chest yet, so I think that's where he's thinking he's got to go. So hopefully this dive will feel a little bit better for him, since he does have more levels than he did last time he was in here.
Now, El, I'm just wondering. I haven't seen a heal staff or a heal helm the entire match yet. I'm just wondering, since there's literally no Dragon Balls here to be able to wish people back here. What do you think about tossing some infinite heal items on some of these mages and letting them basically triple charge the knight?
It's one of those things where it's cost versus reward. So if you spend your mage's rounds going through and using like the heal helm and the heal staff, those are rounds that you could have been spending casting things like Nuke and Fade. And so it's kind of one of those things where you're losing a lot more by casting heal than you are by just getting rid of whatever's in your path that's causing you damage.
I'm thinking more along the lines of when you get into Topher and basically you're down to one mage and maybe a fighter and no charges left.
I could see it as maybe like a last ditch scenario, but for the most part, again, if you're only down to one mage and a fighter and that's all you have to your name, you're probably still better off just trying to burst down and destroy whatever's in your path with spells than you are sitting there spending heal stick and getting back like 20 HP in one round, because most of the things in Topher aren't going to hit you for just 20 HP.
And well said.
Yeah, and it looks like I come back and all of a sudden the slab is turned into a key, so we need a cube. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, we need a cube. Is the cube loose at this point? What are we missing exactly, Ale? You are our tracker, so let me know what's happening here. What do we need?
So we haven't seen the herb or the adamant yet. So at this point, one of the two, I'm going to guess, is probably going to be in ordeals, and the other one's going to be loose. It's going to be what my guess is.
Awesome. So neither one of these runners has been to ordeals yet. It's Paranoia had a chance to do that before getting in the air way earlier, and yeah, I mean, hopefully it's Paranoia remembers that exists, and it's Paranoia's side, or are they just walking away?
Durrun seems to be heading right into the room with the chime.
Well, that's good news. I'm assuming he did not continue his venture down into Earth Cave after taking those two unfortunate wipes, right?
Oh, he hightailed it and reconsidered his life choices.
Yeah, okay. So we know that we have the at this point we know that the chime is here in Volcano. We know that ice is not required because you don't necessarily need the power bonk to get through the game. And so, yeah, I mean, we just need the cube. Cube could be sitting there right in ordeals, just hanging out. Or the cube is loose? We will not know until we get down into ordeals, as its paranoia must be taking some sort of break. Probably, walk away break. Not sure.
It's looking like I'm pretty sure he's taking a bit of a time to figure out exactly where he is and what he's got right now, because both runners have been basically chasing after the tails. I mean, literally, they've been making a lot of revisits into volcano, a lot of revisits into ice. Just now tried to get into Earth and got a big fat heck no from the residents there. So I'm pretty sure that he's trying to figure out where he can actually go now.
Yeah, Durrun getting the bad news that these Hydras and Ochos are unrunnable here. So he's going to have to mow these things down real quick before getting his chime. Going to open this box up. That's an item he needs. Granted, he needs a lot more items. He needs a cube, he needs a key. But that's at least something he needs in order to keep this game moving for him. He still, at this point, from what I can tell, still hasn't done the TNT or the crystal turn in. We know the crystal turns into the bottle.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens here with Durrun. Durrun right now is just now going up into Earth, and he's going to go ahead and heal up. See about taking care of his team members, and let's see if Lich is a speed bump or has Lich actually got some teeth now.
All right, so as you say, let's go on ahead and talk about what's happening on Durrun's screen. We'll see what's going on Paranoia's screen here in just a moment, but we're about to pull our first Fiend battle here at the 1 hour, 28 minute mark. We've got Carrie on screen with all the swords doing crazy Gilgamesh stuff. Let's see what happens here as this battle goes on. He's deciding what to do with his white mage. We got a wall coming out to protect the fighter, fast hitting the fighter too. Sleep comes out, perfect timing, keeps the fighter up. Ice Sword, 6 hits, 142. Looks like we got more damage coming out. White Mage is asleep, so can't really do anything. Bash comes out, 4 hits, 160. Carrie had no hit points. We've got our first orb lit over on Durrun's side. That may seem like he's got an advantage, but he still has so much more to do.
I must have been feeling that Carrie being like paper, because it felt like Lich.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you there. Carrie was definitely a speed bump during that battle, and it's Paranoia. Going to be our first runner to head into ordeals, our last incentive location. We're going to find out right now if it's going to lead to something. It's either going to straight out lead to the cube, or it's going to lead to a fetch quest chain that could potentially lead to the cube, or it could lead to the opal bracelet, because we have not seen the opal bracelet yet. All right, we've got herb and
knowing exactly how crummy this seed's been, I'd say Ordeals has probably got adamant in there, and it's probably going to have you go down to the blacksmith to trade it in for the cube.
Yeah,
it's either that or the cube is in a loose box, and God has helped you all if it is.
Yeah, like I said, I mean the way the seed has been going on. Yeah, I would not be surprised if the ordeals turn in ends up doing herb to adamant to opal bracelet, and then the cube is loose out in the world somewhere in any of the places that you can go to besides Sky. That would not be surprising. I hope that's not the case. I hope they just randomly find the cube here in ordeals and the herb and the adamant are completely unrequired. But we will see, as its Paranoia is going to walk into the castle of ordeals.
By the way, who spun this seed up?
I mean, Crimbot? I'm pretty sure Crimbot spun this up. Like, I don't know.
Evil.
Yeah, I'm going to say thanks, Crimbot, hashtag. As Ailmarkin says, I don't know who rolled this, to be honest.
This is evil. This is becoming a very tormenting seed here, because I mean, literally, every turn that these guys can make, they have met up with things that basically just say, "Hello, you look yummy."
Yeah, and I don't mean to cut you off here real quick, but on Durrun's side, he is going down and left. I'm telling you, I'm not the only person that goes down and left. He is going down and left, and he is getting met by wraiths with sleep and trance. This is unacceptable behavior by these crazy ghosts down here. But man, at least 2 of these runners today have gone down and left.
Mage with stop, and let's see, does mage have rub? Does mage have XXX? That's something I want to know.
And I mean, I hope that mages don't roll rub and lit 3 and all the crazy stuff that they have in vanilla. And be safe, because we already have enough nasty things down here with the poison damage images, the trance sleep wraiths, and all kinds of other nonsense, the ambushing mages and the ambushing frost wolves.
And we haven't even seen what Warmac has.
Yeah, we're gonna make it through this thing one way or another. Durrun is gonna do the warp trick. I love it. Picking up his power bonk, unfortunately. Not the thing he wants to see. It's fine.
Oh, that hurt.
Wow, what is this French vanilla nonsense happening on its Paranoia screen? I look over, I see a boatload of zombie dragons. I'm assuming that's on the nightmare tile. It is, in fact, on the nightmare tile. This is insanity.
I couldn't agree more. And literally,
and
it's like
takes the tile again. What is happening here? I'm assuming
I'm starting to see a little bit of his armored knight farming coming out of his repertoire of DW skills coming. He's going to be farming this sucker up until it basically doesn't give him levels.
I like this a lot, actually. I know I said something about the grind, but yeah, this is good. If Elmarkin is right and they have under 152 HP, which Elmarkin is definitely right, he should be able to mow these things down pretty quick.
And it seems like Durrun basically is basically gotten out of the ice cave and is now in the river. Let's hope that he has some idea of what of where to go for the floater, because I believe he's going to need it, and I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the black belt, I'd say the tail would be needed. But I'm hoping Durrun can do something here.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm looking at Elmarkin, our tracker in chat point now, like what he would need to get life and life 2 charges today, but he still hasn't done the tail turn in. He's getting so many extra levels he should not be getting right now until after promotion.
And that's something that I'm thinking that literally, I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction here. Much Paranoia doesn't give a flippin' flying about promotion. I think he's just going to fling it. He's going to go get some orbs lit, and then he's going to go try taking Topher straight up, just pure and simple.
Yeah, I'm going to say right now, I don't agree with. Oh my God, the opal bracelet! But no one wants to see that here in Ordeal. That means we have a loose TNT a loose adamant or herb that is going to eventually lead to one another, and then eventually arc. And man, that is a lot of the game to look for this either adamant or herb.
Okay.
Wow.
Is it waterfall? No, actually, we've already done waterfall. Waterfall had float. So yeah, is it under Sea Shrine, or is it going to be Sky? Because literally, those are the only 2 places that.
The only places we have not seen yet that neither runner have been to. We have not seen the 3 chests that Durrun couldn't make it to an Earth Cave. We didn't see that. We also can do Mirage. We can't do Sky because you need the cube to do Sky, but you can do those 16 chests in Mirage. And then, of course, we've got all of C available. So its Paranoia has done a lot, and he has a lot of information. While that Opal Bracelet is not ideal, he can still check Cardia. He can still do Sea Shrine, which is what I would assume he would do. Or he can do a quick Mirage check to look for that loose item. And then, of course, thank you, Irish Fox 13, pointing out there were 3 chests in Ice Cave that were not checked by either runner. And yeah, that's rough.
That's gonna hurt if that cube's in one of those 3 is actually in one of those 3 chests.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are both playing a little fast and loose, I think, with skipping chests. And I don't think that that's a play they mean to do. I don't think that's intentional. I just think that it's, again, kind of newer players, not really knowing the maps, not really knowing what chests to check, what rooms to go into. I mean, Elmarkin helping us out here. We've got 3 in Ice, we've got 3 in Earth, we've got 3 to 4 in Marsh, the key locks, of course. We've got Cardia, all of Sea Shrine, and Mirage. So that's what we're looking for. Is its Paranoia is finally going to do the Cardia checks. Hopefully get this class change out of the way. White shirt, huge find. That's in Viz 2 stacks. Big time. He's got so much promotion gear. Look at all this stuff. Dragon armor, white shirt, opal helm. Not really great because you'd prefer to have a ribbon, but still huge finds or huge armor that its Paranoia has that he can't equip yet until he talks to Bahamut. Oh, we got a ribbon. Speaking of, finally, our first ribbon.
Okay, that makes a lot of difference right there. Now, who he's going to replace it on?
What is a big deal about the ribbon? Do you want to go on ahead and talk about the ribbon real quick and exactly what it does? And
ribbon gives a large amount of absorb. Plus, it basically gives you a high defense against death magic, against elemental magic. It's basically wall and not item. I mean, that's seriously what it does. It nullifies everything.
Exactly. As you say, while it doesn't have like insane defense, it only has 1 absorb. It does give you those elemental resistances, and that's all elemental: death, time, status, ice, fire, lightning, and earth. Like everything you do not have to worry about anymore. Unless, of course, you get the 3 and 256 action. Defense sword? Why have we not been here yet? He's been in the sky this whole time.
And now he's starting to see some of the reasons why you want to come over this way as one of the first things as you get when you get your airship. I mean, this place might not have the storage of like a volcano, but this area has a lot of free chests. I mean, these dragons just basically just lounge around, toss stuff into the boxes, and leaves it there just ready, free to pillage.
Yeah, Durrun making a run of Sea Shrine, getting the business from that sea troll or sea snake. I didn't know what attacked him, but totally wiped his white mage, and he was like, no. He noped.
Paranoia just said, I'm going to go ahead and take care of this tail right here and make sure that QC1 is 100% wrong about me. I'm going to go ahead and have my guys go from child to adult.
Okay. I don't know if Elmarkin's been paying attention. I don't remember exactly when its Paranoia got in the air, but I'm going to say he gained at least 4 levels since getting in the air. That is 2 charges of magic that his knight did not learn.
I'd say about 40 minutes ago. I'd say about 40, maybe an hour ago.
Yeah.
Is when Paranoia got in the air. Paranoia got in the air, if I'm not mistaken. It was, where was the Flutter? Yeah, Flutter was in the Ruby Cave.
No, I'm not talking about time-wise, Elmarkin. I was talking about level-wise. But yes, I did know it was about 30 minutes ago that he got into the air. I want to know where his levels were and how many spell charges he passed up on by not doing the tail turn-in when he could have done it. Because oh my, he's not trying to. Anyways, so it's Paranoia. Do you think it's Paranoia is going to go ahead and do the Sphinx grind here?
Hey, it's as good as any right now. I mean, seriously, he's had that tail ever since the 45 minute mark. He's had a flitter since then, and he's gained a whole heap of levels. I think it's at least a good 6 levels. So basically, as far as charges right now, he's behind the 8 ball. I don't care who says what on that. He's behind
and Durrun finally at the 1 hour 42 minute marks picks up his floater. He's going to be airborne here in just a moment. Got the 1 orb lead. Finally gets the floater. We know ordeals is not required.
And we know he's not hitting the marsh cave.
Yeah, and he's not going to Marsh Cave. I'm looking at his stuff. He still hasn't done the TNT turn-in from what I can tell, or the crystal turn-in, so he hasn't gotten the bottle, which we know the bottle leads to the key. Just get in the air and do these turn-ins so you can get back on track right now, because right now, it's Paranoia is looking for that loose cube. We are looking for either the herb or the adamant that's going to lead to either the herb or the adamant that leads to the loose cube.
Okay. Now, taking into consideration here, Paranoia, if you're listening, Volcano, you need to go to Volcano. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. I don't know. Literally, I don't know what to say about it. But right now, you need the chime. You know where the chime is. You know exactly where you got to go to get it. And then you got 2 dungeons that you got to go search out, seek, and destroy.
I mean, I don't like his Earth Dive, or I don't dislike, rather, his Earth Dive here, just because there are more chests available to him by clearing Earth. Plus, it's in a Fiend dungeon, so he's got to clear it at some point anyways. He knows where the chime is. At this point, because he doesn't have the cube, there's only so many boxes. I believe there's 18 boxes total he can get between Mirage 1 and 2. And so if you gamble on Mirage having the loose herb or loose adamant, sometimes, you know what, it might pay off. We've seen it in a couple other races so far, but there's a lot of other places to go still that might be beneficial. So Durrun in the air at the 144 mark. He's going to fly up north. He's going to go and check out Gaia. Paranoia continuing to dive through Earth 2. I believe we saw that room earlier from Durrun's dive, and I don't believe there was anything worthwhile down in this particular room. But Paranoia will be getting that information here in just a minute or two.
Hey, Elle, do you mind if I go ahead and give you the mic for right now? So I mean, I've got some stuff I got to take care of.
That's fine.
It's fine. I'm back too. So let's go ahead and do this, Ale. It's you and me versus this battle here between Durrun and Paranoia. How you feeling about how this race is going so far?
I mean, it's going. I think each runner has kind of seen their share of just nastiness in different aspects of their seed so far, and I think that might have thrown off their game plans a little bit. Because we've seen Durrun abandon a couple different dives, like in Earth Cave and then later on in Ice Cave. So I think that's just seeing all this nasty stuff, not having ribbons. I think that's going to start getting into anyone's head and kind of change up how they're approaching the seed.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, with Durrun losing a couple of dives into Earth because of those poison images, and now just kind of being all over the place here. Still hasn't done the TNT turn-in, still hasn't done the crystal turn-in to get the bottle. He's just trying to think about what he needs to do.
Ooh, look at that.
Whoa, we got the looser. Wait, what? Did Durrun miss that room?
I believe he did, because we never saw that earlier.
That's huge fine for its Paranoia, because its Paranoia right now is in, I mean, it's no mode because he doesn't have the cube, but we already know, and he knows for sure, that it will in fact lead to the cube.
Absolutely. So that's good news for Paranoia. I think the only thing that might be a concern at the moment is I believe we're still swinging an ice sword. And if you're thinking endgame, that's not what you want to go into
Well, it's Paranoia, I think, left the Vorpal on the table when that ill-fated volcano dive happened way earlier in the game. So maybe he put it in the back of his head like, oh, the Vorpal's here. I can pick that up real quick. That is a good in-game sword, no matter the memes or how you feel about it or whatever. It will do the deed to get through Vorpal. Or to get through Topher, sorry.
Yeah, and especially with Paranoia's comp, we have fast at level 2 and temper at level 4, so assuming we pick that Ren Mage back up off the floor at some point, he'll at least have plenty of temper charges if he does go back and get that Vorpal. I believe in his original dive in Volcano, though, I think Paranoia skipped that top left room where the Vorpal was, so I'm not even sure if we'll be seeing that if and when he does that Volcano redive.
Yeah, this is crazy. Like, this whole seed has just been... It hasn't been, like, ridiculous. I mean, yeah, these images and Sabretooths are ridiculous. But, like, it hasn't been... It's just item placement and lack of gear. This is what I would call, in my opinion, a black belt seed. You had those Sarias right there. You could have, like, got all your key items, just Sariated it up for, like, a million years. And then had some levels to deal with kind of the nastiness that the rest of the seed had.
Yeah, or even if you aren't running black belt, those Sarias would have been great for an early level jump. With what we have, level 2 Fade, level 3 Nuke, I think. So you've got massive firepower, and Sari is notoriously for, as we mentioned earlier, they're not quite Agamas.
Yeah, they're really not, but they will still get the job done. But yeah, and where the herb is located, kind of on one of those greed checks in Earth. Like, if you need things, you check that room. So I'm really surprised Durrun didn't check that room earlier, because that would have given him huge information.
Yeah, I think it's just map knowledge at this point, because I believe earlier when we were doing his Earth dive, I think he was looking around to see which parts of the maps and which parts of the floors had rooms in it. And I think it may just come down to not necessarily knowing which rooms have chests in it and which ones have, is the Bat Party room necessarily. So
yeah, and unfortunately, you can tell just from how long it took Durrun to get to Ordeals that, oh my! What? Durrun was in this room the whole time, and that is a good tile. This is actually not in this particular room because there's no safe way to grind this, but if you go into the room on the bottom left hand of this area, you can grind this safely, and that's a big find.
Yeah, barring the eyes having something that we didn't necessarily see, some nasty spell, some nasty skill, I would definitely pick that to fight over that Gershark Wizahak pack that's also in this room.
Yeah, I mean, eyes typically, they don't have much in the way of health in vanilla. They're just scary because of the skills and spells that they have in vanilla, but they obviously could not roll those things in the randomizer.
I'm curious to see what Paranoia has actually gotten on his knight, because I may have looked away and missed it, but I believe that was an orange-colored sword. I wonder if he's got the defense sword going on right now.
Well, he did pick up the defense sword somewhere, so I would hope that he equipped that defense sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Thank you, Irish Fox. I was like, I don't think he picked up the Excalibur, the Sun Sword, and the other orange sword I can think of is the defense sword.
So, yeah, right now, Irish Fox hanging out in here, helping us out, letting us know what's going on. We get this French vanilla tile. We already know that the zombie Ds don't have much in the way of health, so surprised he doesn't take it with the fade charges and the nuke charges just to see what he could get from it. Unrunnable Medusas, that's fun.
So let me ask you this, Greg.
Yeah.
Life and Life 2 are both level 8.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen one ribbon so far. The best weapon we've seen is the defense sword.
Mhm.
How many more boxes do you take, and how many more fights do you take before you start feeling comfortable for a Tofu?
Okay. With its paranoia, I say. I'm trying to think. Okay, so I was actually wrong about grinding this eye tile. I forgot where it was actually located in regards to these chests. But anyways, with its paranoia, I would at least get one life 2 charge on the white mage. Get to level 25. Get that life 2 charge in case stuff goes south on the Kraken battle. That would be my personal opinion as far as life 2 is concerned. Now on Durrun's side, with the black belt, I mean, you don't need life 2. You just grind your black belt up to like level 42 and don't worry about anything else.
Yeah, I gotta say I agree with that. We were talking earlier, Q and I, and we kind of both jointly agreed that, see if you can't get 1 or 2 maybe life 2 charges, because, with both of the spells in the same level, we don't care about.
Okay, it looks like somebody got turned to stone during this eye battle. I assume eyes have stone touch, or did they do glance?
I'm thinking it was stone touch. Oh, no, I see spells. I'm going to go with glance.
Dazzle, Expert. Oh, man, you don't want to see spells. Never mind. Eyes, abort them. Abort. Get out of this battle. You have no fade charges. Just get out of here. I mean, once you get your if you have one ribbon or you get your black belt up to a high enough level, then it's not too terribly scary, even with spells. But yeah, don't want to deal with that.
I might sit there and be a little cheeky with this now. You're right there near the end of Earth 4.
Yep.
We've got one ribbon. We've got dragon armor.
You've got one stone.
Elementals. I would throw the ribbon on that knight and just go to town.
Yeah, actually, it's not a bad idea considering the best sword we have is defense. You may as well just go on ahead and grind as high as you need to grind to feel comfortable to get through Topher.
Yeah, because his white mage is, I believe she hit 24.
Yeah.
Right on one of those earlier battles, so we're not far away from those life charges. And yeah, it's not normally a plan to, sit there and get your knight to excessive levels, but like you pointed out a little bit earlier, Greg, we did miss out on some spell charges on that night with our routing and class changing and the timing of it after we got in the air earlier. So,
And it looks like Paranoia is going to finally, at the 1 hour 54 minute mark, gonna light up their first orb here as Durrun picks up his defense sword here in Cardia. But let's not talk about that. We know that there's good stuff in Cardia. We've got 1 hit, 1 damage out of the white mage, it looked like. Temper's coming out slow. Not good because it landed on that knight. We need to throw a fast out so we can do some actual damage because we have no fade charges. Wall coming out, protecting the mage, the fighter. Luckily, still able to land a pretty decent hit at 104. Ice 3 doing, Ice 3 damage against an undead monster. Another Temper coming out. 1 hit, 1 damage. 73 damage. Temper again lands kind of afterwards. Fire 2 doing nothing. Ive hits for 77. Lich hits for 15. Significantly lower than Ive. Are we missing Fast? Where is Fast right now?
Fast on
he
the
has
same
no
level
charges.
as Nuke, so...
Yeah. 72 damage again. Luckily, Lich cannot roll much higher than about 8-ish hit points, like around 830. So, I mean, if these 72s keep landing and Lich doesn't really do anything else besides spells, then he should be able to get through this battle pretty easily.
Yeah, I think the other thing I'd consider doing with this fight, too, is not only fighting with the knight, obviously, but throwing out that Harm 3 on your white wizard.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Harm 3. The Harm 3 would do some serious damage, but it doesn't matter. 1 hit, 164. Lich goes down. We've got our first orb lit up on Paranoia's side at the 1 hour 56 minute mark, and that's 1 orb apiece. 1 orb apiece.
So I'm curious to see if Paranoia knows he's in go mode at this no mode at this point, having found that herb. Because if you're keeping track, herb, adamant, cube. Those are the only things that he hasn't seen yet. He knows the chime is down here in Volcano.
It's Paranoia's heading into to Volcano without hitting a city to save, or not to save, but to bring people back to life. No, he did bring some people back to life. Never mind. I was too busy looking at Durrun's screen. I got kind of
Red Mage is still getting dragged along behind the party, so.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I guess he didn't revive the Red Mage. He's gonna just go on ahead. Probably feels pretty behind lighting up his first orb at 1 hour 55. So is gonna just try to just. Hopefully he remembers he never got that chime out of here way earlier in the game. Looking at his inventory. He knows he picked up the herb there because he had to have been super stoked that he found both loose items, right?
Absolutely. And I think speaking of finding things and looking in your inventory, I think that's where we're at on Durrun's side of the screen currently too, because I don't believe he's gone yet to turn in that crystal. I also don't think he's gone in to turn that TNT in yet, so he may be scratching his head a little bit and trying to figure out what exactly he missed.
Yeah, because he's pretty much full clear to everything except for those last 5 chests down in Earth Cave that he can get to, and of course Sea Shrine. And yeah, I mean, yeah, until he does the bottle, which leads to the key, I think, right?
Yeah, so it's crystal to bottle to slab to key. So yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So he needs to turn in the crystal that leads to the key. The TNT doesn't matter because it leads to the Thor's hammer. And he needs to find that loose herb here. Luckily, heading back in, hopefully he did a little bit of map strats and is going to find this loose herb.
We're going the right way.
Yeah, he's heading the right way. I can't imagine him. He's right. No, he missed the room. You missed the room. It was right there.
I think he's heading back down to finish his Earth 4. I think he's trying to brave past those images with damage.
Yeah, I think he should have a ribbon right now. I want to say there was a ribbon in Cardia, so maybe he'll have a better chance. And yes, it's Paranoia does remember that the chime does exist, and now he is one step away from go mode. He's in no mode, because he knows at this point that the herb is going to lead to the adamant, which is going to lead to the cube. Because there's nothing else it could do.
Yep, and we see Durrun just trying to sprint back to get back to where he was earlier on his Earth dives. Because we've seen half of Earth 4 from Durrun, and I'm sure he's wondering if the loose is in the bottom half of Earth 4, which unfortunately the images didn't let him.
Wow.
Paranoia coming on to knock on Carrie's door and say, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, it's very true, and it's Paranoia not too far behind Durrun. Durrun killed Carrie about 4 minutes ago, and it looks like we're going to go on ahead and get a second orb lit here on its Paranoia side, as he gonna have to avoid this sleep. Luckily, none of it landed. We got fast coming out. Power bonk, nice move. Wall is gonna protect his fighter.
I like Paranoia's use of wall in these fights. It's very heads up.
Yeah, it's very good, because that way, in case Carrie throws out Bane or Zap or something dumb that could insta-kill your characters, it doesn't matter, though. One hit, and by one hit, I mean 8 hits, 565. Carrie is down. We've got 2 orbs lit on its Paranoia side at the 2-hour mark.
It's 2 orbs now, so I'm pretty sure we'll see Paranoia follow that herb fetch quest at the moment.
And it looks like he is actually doing it right now. He's heading in. He's going to talk to the prince. He's going to get his go mode item.
Durrun's finding those eyeball.
Yeah, and they're unrunnable too. Like, that's just so beautiful. They can't ambush you. It looks like their first spell is Exfer. I didn't see if they had a skills list as well. I want to say it was Glance. Is that right? I know it turned
right.
Somebody to stone earlier. Which, that's a bad combination. If you get Exferred and then glanced right afterwards with a ribbon on, that would be pretty ugly. So
yeah,
maybe
everyone thinks they're safe from everything in the game until you get Exferred, and then you're just like, oh man. I really wish I picked up that wall spell.
Yeah, right. And then there it is. We got the herb into the adamant to the cube, like our tracker, Ailmark and new. Wow, we are in go mode on its Paranoia side at the 2 hour 1 minute mark. And at this point, how do you feel about what he has, like as far as his gear? I know he's swinging a defense sword. We do have fast and temper, so it's not like terrible. But do you still check chest to try to get something a little bit better?
I mean, I think this is one of those things that just comes down to experience in the game. And then couple that with where your spells and everything land. So we have early-ish level Nuke and Fade. We have early-ish level Fast and Temper. The only big problem is Nuke and Fast share a spell slot. Knowing that, I'm not going to be trying to burn nukes to get through bosses when I'm going to maybe keep myself from having Fast on a later fight like Fiend or Chaos or Tiamat 2.
Yeah.
So I might maybe check Mirage and Sky. Like Mirage 1, Mirage 2, Sky 3, and Sky 1. I might check those for maybe a Sun Sword or a Lhasa or an X-Cal, but if I don't find it there, I think at the 2 hour mark, you just kind of have to go with what you have and hope for the best.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's Paranoia completely missed the that top left room in Volcano that we talked about earlier. And man, I was too busy talking about its Paranoia, and Durrun has lit up Earth Orb, so the orb tied. They are both tied at 2 orbs each. Durrun needs to do all these fetch quest things. Well, it doesn't really matter. He needs to go back into Earth and get the herb, because we know the herb leads to the cube and it's required. And at this point, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, and the farther away we get from going back and checking out Earth 2, the farther this lead is going to extend for Paranoia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's Paranoia is just trying to get through these battles. He is going to check Mirage 1, hopefully find the X-Cal, the Sun Sword, or the Massa, of course. The Massa would be a huge find.
Yeah, because looking at their gear, defensive-wise, we're pretty much set. The only thing we could really hope for would maybe be like that second or third.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a second or third ribbon, of course. Be able to slap a ribbon onto your knight, and then, of course, have one on your healer, your white mage. This is an interesting play on its Paranoia's part. I know he's been into cities before. He's keeping his red mage down. How do you feel about keeping the red mage down?
Knowing where Nuke and Fast and Temper are, I mean, all the really great black magic spells are level 4 and below. I think once you hit a certain point of getting 1 or 2 spell charges for life 2 on that white mage, I would definitely be bringing that red mage back up and just letting them get as many spell charges as they can for those low level spells.
Yeah, I think the only thing I can think of is maybe it's Paranoia is trying to get as many levels as possible onto the white mage and the knight. Obviously, the knight, the more levels you get, the more damage they can do, and then of course you can get more of those life 2 charges that we mentioned that are in the level 8 slot.
Yeah, absolutely. That might be the consideration too. Is you've got to start weighing. Okay, how many more boxes do I want to check, and hope I find the Mossy, and not have it be somewhere like Marsh Locked, where most people are never going to go back and check at this point in time, winter and go.
Chad wondering, Time Stalker, Papa just running with 3 characters. Is that wise? That's a very legitimate strat here in the Final Fantasy randomizer communities. A lot of people like to run with 3-man because you can funnel the experience into only 3 characters versus 4 characters and get higher levels on those 3 characters. Less inputs as well. Arguably a faster play. With these particular flags, it's a gamble. It just depends on how everything rolls in the seed. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's a disadvantage at all. 3-man works just fine to get the levels you need. Now, the only issue that I have with the 3-man is the temper charges on the red mage, because you want to have as many temper charges as humanly possible going into Topher, because you want to buff up that night, especially if you don't have an Excal or a Masa or a Vorpal. If you're swinging defense, you need anything that can buff up that defense sword.
Yeah, and not only the temper charges, but also that fast falling at level 2 alongside nuke. So every nuke you throw at a fiend, that's one less chance you can cast fast if you get hit by a slow 2 maybe through a ribbon, anything like that is just going to really ruin your game if you have no more fast.
Yeah, and Durrun doing the clear heading towards Kraken side. Does not know at this point that basically this is all for naught unless you find a Massa. But even then, you still need to go back into Earth Cave and check those 3 chests there in that top right room of Earth 2 so you can get the herb, so you can find the cube, so you can be in go mode. And it's Paranoia completely missing out on those 11 chests down there. It's an interesting play considering he checked the 10 chests of Mirage 2.
And he may just be going for chest density on Sky 3 and just hoping it's there.
Yeah, I could see that. There are definitely 14 chests on Sky 3 versus the 11 that are on Sky 1, but you have warp. You can literally just pop into those rooms, warp around.
True, or it just may be one of those things where you're starting to look at the clock and realizing, look, I really would like something better, but maybe I just gotta...
Yeah, I'm thinking so as well. And we got mana cores over here, which mana cores, you know, like if you don't have anything decent enough to grind on, it's not a bad thing to get a couple extra levels on. As you can see, 4 of them going down for nearly 4,000 experience for a full party, which again is not terrible. And the Rojo pack coming up here, Sahags, luckily no thunder on them, so that's got to be nice for Durrun to see.
Absolutely. And Sky's been pretty good so far to Paranoia, just kind of finishing out his level. So he's got 26 and 25 between his 3 characters. So his White Wizard's got the couple different charges of life.
Yeah.
Nice to be doing pretty good things with that defense sword.
Yeah, absolutely. Chat pointing out, and I didn't even think about this, but Time Stalker saying that since Durrun checked those chests earlier before the crystal, maybe he checked it off on whatever tracker he uses and doesn't think he needs to go there anymore.
That's a valid point, because when he did check those chests, he did talk to Matoya and saw the message about the crystal. I'm wondering if he's kind of mixing up the messages from Matoya and thinking maybe he got something.
Yeah, I don't know. He's looking at his screen right now. He's trying to think about what he wants to do. He's 2 hours and 9 minutes in. It's Paranoia is going some direction. I'm not even gonna meme about this anymore. He's just doing Sky Maze stuff, I guess.
Yeah, for all the jokes the community has, there's no real right way to go through Sky 4. I mean, we all know left and up is proper, but you know, you can go left, up. You can go right, down. You can go right, up.
Or you can do what it's Paranoia is doing and just go north forever and never find the exit out of here. Because that was at least 4 rows. Up Irish Fox 13 pointing out it is left up 6 times. That's how you get through this place. And man, look at those levels. Oh my gosh, he's back to the original teleporter.
Yeah, so for anyone new watching, go east or west or right or left 2, and then go up or down 2, and you'll find your up teleporter.
He's gonna make it back to that teleporter. I've never seen. Oof, that's rough. But Durrun is on Kraken's floor. Hopefully has a map in front of him. Gonna be able to make his way to Kraken at some point. And light up his 3rd orb. Never gonna be able to light up his 4th orb until he finds a cube. Which we know the cube is a fetch quest out of Earth Cave. And it's Paranoia. Like completely lost in Sky 4 right now.
We're just doing the walking, grind in the sky. Nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, we're level 26. We don't really need any extra levels. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting a few more levels. As he just keeps going through this area.
Yeah, going back to Durrun's side, like you were saying, there's a lot of chess between him and that herb and Earth too.
Yeah, and he exits out. What?
Oh, he lost his fighter.
Oh, that's why. Wow. That's awful. I totally looked away. Was too busy looking at its Paranoia screen, and all of a sudden, we have a dead fighter and has to exit out and go back in.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, Airs with crack, peddling the crack. You know somebody peddles it. Oh, he's got one charge of life too.
And that's why.
Oh,
Even with it. Oh, Durrun!
what? Durrun
In the
picked
ale
up
marking box!
No! It's the ale marking box. I love that box. It's right there. You head towards the mermaids and boom, check that box and you get a massive for all your troubles. Now that's big for Durrun because its Paranoia has not been to sea yet. We don't know if they'll check that area, but that's an out-of-the-way check for him in go mode.
And it's also a really huge pickup for Durrun because we all know the tail was down in Marsh. Just kind of like that herb being down in Earth, we don't know if Durrun's going to be heading back to either of those dungeons anytime soon. So if Durrun never finds that tail, he's never going to promote, and the mouse is going to be the best thing he can absolutely swing.
Yeah, and after its Paranoia did total Konami strats here, finally making it through the Sky 4 maze and is on the Bridge of Destiny. Get your Bless RNGs out. Well, never mind, don't worry about it. Because he only saw one counter. But we got a Tiamat coming up here. Power Bonk coming out. Thinking about
See,
what he
I
wants
think
to
that's what all it was. All that Sky 4 routing was just trying to confuse War Mech.
I'd have to say, or like I said, Konami strats. Maybe you want to do up, down, left, right, BA select start, and then boom, he's good to go.
If only we had a Konami code.
Only if we did. And trying to think about what he wants to do. He's getting some walls out there, making sure all his ribbonless characters have makeshift ribbons. Temper coming out. Knot takes a pretty big hit to the face. Luckily, he's got a Cure 4. Is going to be able to handle that. More Tempers coming out. 7 hits, 340. Cure 4 coming out. 6 hits again.
Just zeroing in on that poor little white wizard.
Yeah, luckily he's getting decent enough turn order to keep that white wizard alive. Cure 4 coming out again. Now the black mage is down. Man, does not want to go after that top row, huh? What kind of odds is that?
Yeah, let's not attack the guy with the defense sword stats.
Yeah,
let's go punch everyone else who's super squishy. Only Tia 1 taking a page from Kraken 2's book, but goes down nonetheless.
Yeah, so at 2 hours, 14 minutes, its Paranoia lights up their third orb and only has to do Kraken floor. So wherever Durrun is currently, that's all he has to do in order to be, well, go into Topher and go a bunch of years in the past and close the time loop, as they say. So, Ale, you're 2 hours, 14 minutes in. How you feeling about your race right now if you were these runners?
If I'm 2 hours and 14 minutes in, I think it's really going to depend on what I've found and where I'm at. If I'm still spinning my wheels trying to find a loose item, I'm probably just like racking my brain trying to figure out what box did I skip and where is it at, because we all know that one box you skip is the one that always comes back and bites you and has the loose item.
Yep.
But aside from that, I think the other half of me is going to be like sitting there staring at like the IRC window. Okay, maybe the other guy will just done and like end my torment. We can move on, because I was certainly feeling that way recently during a match. So.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would say, at what point are you looking at IRC chat, looking for the done? Over like 130, 140, somewhere in that general area is when you start like kind of looking up there? Or is it where you are as far as your progression and your seed is concerned?
I think it's kind of a mix of all three things. Those three things being the time, the progression, but also I think your opponent a little bit. And I think that just kind of goes into having some knowledge about who your opponent is within them. Speaking of opponents, look at that big old squiddy thing on Durrun's side.
Yeah, I see that. So Durrun pulling Kraken 1 as its Paranoia heads into Kraken's lair. Gonna have to take this unrunnable battle because our Sags and Wizzags are always unrunnable. 4 hits, 269. That's some damage, but Kraken luckily has more hit points than that, I guess. Hack took a pretty big hit to the face, but it's fine. 2 hits, 299. Bash comes out 2 hits, 112. Fast coming out a little bit late, but Fade may do the job. 144 does not. 2 hits, 14. That's some good gear on Hack.
Either that or apparently Kraken traded out his tentacles for wet noodles.
Clearly. So 3 hits, 421. Fade's going to probably do it at 83 damage. And we have our third orb lit on Durrun's side. You would look at the tracker and assume that these two were tied up, but they are nowhere near tied up because we know that Paranoia is in go mode. Only needs to kill Kraken in order to get into Topher.
Yeah, and if I'm in Durrun's shoes, I'm desperately scratching my head at this moment. Like, what box did I miss, and where the heck is it? Because the last thing you want to do at this time of your match is start trying to backtrack and just start getting met with all those nothing here, chest is empty. So he's checking out his items. Hopefully he still sees that he's got Crystal and TNT, and hopefully that'll give him that little spark that he needs to go and do those two. Well, we don't really care about the TNT. We know it's a Thor hammer. But hopefully that crystal sparks something and he goes to visit them.
Yeah, we're hoping so too. Where is Durrun right? Okay, so he's heading back. I've never seen an Anklo in that particular area of the world in my entire life.
I don't think I've ever seen one there either.
Yeah, it must be one of those number 8 encounters as he heads over to his airship. Which I've never parked the airship there before. Wow, I've never seen that spot. Never noticed that spot was even there to park an airship.
I've seen it done a few times before. Ooh, Durrun gambling on Mirage being the play.
Yeah, not knowing he still has like literally two fetch quest checks to do and 2 loose items on the table. We already know where the loose items are. One is the tail in Marsh Cave, and the other is the required herb, which leads to the cube in Earth Cave, in the room that he bypassed twice now.
Yeah, that's one of those things, though, is where if you're a newer runner, you still may not be totally familiar with where all the boxes are on a particular floor. So there's definitely no shame in having, a map or a resource open to the side, or even just watching the VODs back after your race and just making a mental note, okay, these are the rooms I need to make sure I check.
Well, I mean, that room right there, it's a pretty standard greed check right there, because it doesn't take too many steps to get into that room, check those 3 boxes and move on. So hopefully at the end of all this, Durrun, if he has the time to watch the VOD back, will know that room actually exists. And at the 2-hour 20-minute mark, its Paranoia is going to try to kill his 4th fiend and light up his 4th orb. We got some defense action happening. God has no hit points. I guess Brock got back to life just to take a hit.
Yeah, Got was res the clinic in Honorak, and I think they were kind of the target of all the mobs on the whole way down.
Yeah, because it looks like everybody else has pretty good HP, so clearly wasn't interested in keeping God up to begin with. Just like you said, there to kind of take any sort of abuse. Defense sword, we got a wall, we had some other stuff coming out. Cure 4 is gonna land on Ing.
Yeah, making that decision, who gets the Cure 4 more, and definitely picking the higher level Black Wizard for that.
Yeah, and Not takes the hit, because Kraken only likes to attack white mages in the back row.
As is tradition.
As is tradition. The Burt Reynolds special, as we like to... Not coming out, doing absolutely no damage. Kraken hitting 5 hits for a little over 200. Ing is still up. Man, this is weird. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Kraken hit majorly characters as many times as he has without just one-shotting them.
And with such wild damage variance, too. Like, he's punching the poor Black Wizard in the back for 230, yet he's only punching that second slot Red Wizard for 20.
Yeah, it's pretty absurd. 5 hits finally gets got down at 5 hits, 2 hits, 373. We've got a dead Kraken, and unfortunately for It's Paranoia, we do not have the Massa. We know where the Massa is. It's in the L mark in check, and it's going to be left there.
Hopefully with Paranoia's levels, though, we're able to power through this Topher. We've kind of seen more often than not during this tournament so far. I think the Tophers have been kind of more on the squishy side, so we'll hope and see if that kind of holds true for this particular match.
Yeah, you say that. It's always for the good runners that they're like the high-end runners, like the 2 the Topher's completely squishy, and these guys can get through Topher in like 10 minutes. But then you get the 0-2 battles where Chaos rolls like 4,600 hit points and max evade with like double nuclear or nuke. So we'll see how this goes.
For the record, I'm knocking on wood for our runners that you did not just commentary curse them.
I mean, you know, it could have been a thing. It could have been
a thing. Alright, so Durrun cleared out Mirage 1 and 2. He's going to reassess and redirect and see which way he's got to. Paranoia gonna do some shopping, picking up some skulls for the Knight and the White Wizard. And Durrun trying to see where he's got to go. He's going back to Marsh. He realizes maybe I left something on the table down here. So if he makes his way down and checks that incentive chest, he's gonna get rewarded with the tail, which he's gonna be very happy to see because he's been lugging around a lot of promotion gear for quite a while. Paranoia still doing some last-minute pre-Topher shopping. Got a couple spells. Stop back over and Provoca. We know the early level white magic wasn't all that great to speak of. I think the highlights were going to be Fade in level 3 and Heal 2 in level 1 for what that Knight. But hey, if Heal 2 is what it takes, Heal 2 is what it takes. It's never going to be a bad thing to have a little bit of extra healing when you're diving into this final dungeon. Durrun continuing to make his way back towards that Marsh incentive chest. Just having, given his levels, really unfortunate run chance. Some last minute potioning. Durrun step away from getting his tail out of the unincentivized, incentivized Marsh.
Alright, so it looks like, if I'm looking correctly, Durrun makes his run back into Marsh Cave and gets that loose tail. That's not what he needs.
Not what he needs, but I'm sure he'll be glad to see it, because he's had a number of promotion pieces of armor being lugged around in his inventory for quite a while.
Yeah, he's got to go back and look at his map and hopefully realizes once he looks at it that one room in Earth Cave has what he needs. And it's Paranoia.
Bought a lot of shopping items, but maybe didn't necessarily have a house at the end there, I think is what he was looking for before he jumped in his...
You hate to not be able to get all your spell charges back before you go into Topher. And it's Paranoia is going to go on ahead and head into Topher here without saving. Realizes he didn't save. Seems to be get rid of those cabins, bud. So why would he need to get rid of those cabins, by the way?
So something that you'll see a lot of runners do, as Greg is alluding to, is burning off all those cabins and tents and any of the extra save items before you enter Topher, the thing you want to try and do is try and get your heal potions in that first column. That way, when you've got to go and burn heal potions to heal after fights, it's just to hit up, hit A, hit up, hit A. You don't have to try.
Yeah, as Ale was saying, yeah, you don't have to do any sort of extra menu inputs. You hit up and A to do any of your heals. And looks like its Paranoia is running into some unrunnable gas dragons. That's annoying. That might prompt me to just completely reset out, but it looks like they don't have much in the way of HP. And of course, one nuke does real damage, and the rest of the nukes do absolutely no damage. So that's got to feel good.
As is tradition.
As is tradition.
Right up there with the FFR special of throwing out your nuke and it killing everything except for one thing, and then you run away. It's the same thing here. You throw out your nuke and it low rolls everything except for one mob.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's standard nuke and fade rolls. You get up against somebody, you throw a nuke out there and it does like 101 damage, or you throw a fade out there and it does like 83 damage. It's just the way of FFR at this point. But it's Paranoia learning the bad news about not burning off those 7 cabins. Would have taken him maybe 4 or 5 seconds to burn off those 7 cabins, and now has to do all this extra menuing just to heal his characters up before getting out of this floor.
Yeah, with heal pots being in that center of the bottom, or the bottom of the center column, it's not the worst thing ever, but it does kind of get a bit cumbersome. You know, when you're on your 20th heal pot and you're just like, why didn't I burn off these?
Yeah, absolutely. It just gets bad.
So if there's one thing both of our runners have had in common today during this run, it's for some reason neither party seems to want to run away from. So hopefully we'll see how this turns around here, as Paranoia is working his way down. He's 1 floor away from the earth floor. Durrun running around trying to check with all the fetch quest NPCs, just seeing if maybe he overlooked something. He did turn in that TNT, which we saw was a Thor hammer, but again, at this point, it's not what he's looking for. He's really looking for the herb down on Earth 2 to really get things going, along with that crystal from a toy. So, making our way through Earth 4 on Paranoia's side of the screen. And we are going to give Lich a little bit of respect today, healing up right beforehand. It's always a smart play, because it's always one of those instances where if you don't heal up, he always has turn 1 nuke. And if you do heal up, he has absolutely nothing. So, better safe than sorry. Run doing a little bit of diving around, seeing if maybe he missed something in Volcano, so we're going to re-dive in here.
And we get our first look at our Fiend refight as Lich 2 appears on our screen. He brings everybody back to life. God is still up there. It's good to see. Good to see we got a 4-person party. As he's trying to think about what he wants to do, going to temper some stuff up. Going to give Lich a little bit of respect with the wall. I like it. Power box fast. Zap coming out. Did that zap go through that wall?
I believe it did, Greg.
No, I think the wall landed on the black.
Oh, you're right. That was on the Black Wizard.
Yeah, okay. So that's fine. We should still have, 2 or 3 charges of life too. So this isn't all for nothing. Get those fade and nuke charges out there. Fire 2 coming out doing nothing. Nuke 125. We've got a dead Lich 2 and enough life charges to at least bring back that. Oh, wow. That's good. That's really, really good.
Yeah, having that zap go out like it did, that's one of the dangers of only finding and having one ribbon on your toe for dive. At least he had it on his White Wizard, because that's, at this point in the run, the most vital character.
So here's my real question. Does the Black Wizard have the black shirt equipped currently? Because I know we found a black shirt.
I don't think he does.
Wow, okay. So black shirt does offer time resistance, which would have protected against that zap. Not that he would know the zap was coming out, but it is just good to know that that would have been a thing.
Irish Fox saying we think he does, so that could just be something to look at in the future, though, is, you know, if you're worried about time, which, admittedly, if you're a newer runner, that's one of the last things you want to worry about. When you're fighting a fiend, you're thinking, okay, Blaze, Fire 3, Blizzard, Thunder, anything like that. You're not thinking things like zapping.
Yeah, I have to remark just how much time they are taking. Like, it's Paranoia is taking trying to heal up on between battles because of where those cabins happen to be located.
Yeah, so Carry 2 doing Carry 2 things so far. First round spent buffing. Not a huge hit from Carry 2, so it's kind of what we want to see. Defense Sword doing 8 hits, 300 damage. Just have to be mindful of our fast and temper charges as we get a little bit further down here. Eight hits, 240. Carry 2 not having a lot in the tank and going down, which is what we want to see, because that poor White Wizard was getting a little bit low. Onto the water floor as Durrun bumps back out of Volcano and looking back over his notes, trying to figure out where exactly he's got to go back.
Man, Durrun has got to be completely just perplexed by what he needs to do. And at this point, we know what he needs to do. He's got two things he needs to do. He needs to turn the crystal in, get the bottle, get the key. Or get the slab, then get the key. And he also needs to go back into Earth Cave and get the herb, get the adamant, get the cube. That'll put him in go mode. Doesn't need to do the TNT. The TNT we know leads to the Thor's hammer. Not necessary to beat the game.
No, I think it's just one of those things of trying to rack your brain, and you know, it's something that happens to every newer runner in some form. You know, we all talk about how you get looped from time to time, or you know, you go up to the Mirage 3 and you decide, why can't I go to Sky? Oh no, I don't have my cube. So yeah, it's just one of those kind of like learning pains you've got to go through.
Heck, I was gonna say, I feel like I've done seeds where I've gone to. Tried to go to Sky without the cube, and that was like yesterday.
Yeah, and we've all seen things like the Lupas and Lefane and whatnot, but it's just one of those things of where map knowledge is really going to come and help out. Because, I mean, looking at the run over, aside from missing a couple unfortunate boxes and rooms, I think both their plays have been solid. I mean, on both sides, they've been pretty brisk with their inputs for the most part. They've made smart dives, I think. You know, not trying to overextend it with like an early carry kill on either side.
Yeah, I would have to say, like, the seed was kind of bad, but for the most part, these runners have been able to make things happen, considering how long they've been in the community and how long they've been playing the randomizer. Like I said, I think this is Durrun's third seed ever, where I know it's Paranoia is known mainly for the Dragon Warrior randomizer and not so much this randomizer.
Yeah, and that's something to keep in mind too. So, as we look at the Paranoia side of the screen, we've got a Carry 2 for a Kraken 2 fight going. And our defense is smart, because, oh no. Kraken 2 sends out a Bane, and we've really just got to hope and pray now that Kraken 2, Kraken 2 reaches out after baning the Knight and the Black Wizard and smacks the poor little White Wizard, and we're back to square one. So now you've got to start wondering, what are my plans here to approach this Topher? So we know that Lich has Zap, which is going to eat up life charges if we don't get out some kind of defensive first. Carry 2 didn't seem to have a lot, and Kraken 2 now has Bane. So I think Paranoia approached it the right way with that fight, trying to get out the wall. It was just one of those unfortunate instances. It's been kind of a fairly bad seed, so a lot of the enemies in the middle dungeon, so specifically Earth and Ice, rolled things like damage poison. And so when you're a runner and you have no ribbons, even if you are levels 15 to 20, you don't have the HP to sit through back-to-back-to-back damage poisons.
Yeah, I mean, this is rough for both players right now. I mean, it's Paranoia obviously taking the wipe, trying to find any sort of gear they can get in order to get back into Topher and make a clear Topher dive here.
What?
Sulita giving us our answer in chat, helping out. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think at this point, if I'm Paranoia, I might consider just jumping back down there again. Knowing you just kind of have to get turn order, at least on Lich. Carry 2's not going to be significant. And then just really hoping for turn order on Kraken 2. Because if you don't get that, the only really other option you have is going to be pick a dungeon, go back there, and hope you can find another ribbon or two. Oh, hey, speaking of a ribbon. There we go. Second ribbon found.
I missed where that second ribbon was. Where did we find it?
Bottom right chest in Temple of Fiends, so that locked room.
That is pretty awesome.
It's like the game said, hey, you might need this later.
All right, so I'm actually looking at our speed gaming schedule right now, and on speed gaming 2, actually pulling the Ailmarkin strats here, 15 minutes ago, Super Metroid Multi-something was supposed to start. So we're going to try our best to keep up with this. I'm actually surprised somebody from speed gaming hasn't come in here and given us the information that we should probably get this game moving.
Yep, so that second ribbon looks to be what Paranoia wanted. So we're going to try another Temple of Fiends Revisited dive here.
All right. I saw Durrun go back into Gaia. Did he have the bottle from the Crystal Turn-In?
No, I believe he was just checking up there just in case he missed the NPC. He's been going back and checking a lot of the Fetch Quest Turn-In NPC.
Yeah.
And he was just in Mirage 1 and 2 checking, so... That's a good question. I did not happen to see Paranoia saved after getting that second ribbon.
Oof. You hate to see that.
There's our snap. So we look away for half a second to watch Kraken 2, and Durrun's been turning in all those fetch quests.
Well, good news. Do you know that this does turn into something that we need, which is the key? So that's at least one more go mode item that he needs. So he finally figured out he needed to go to Matoya's cave. Probably trying to figure out what he needs to do with this slab. Because looks like we're kind of on the screen, just kind of looking at it. Maybe had to take a break from the computer for a second. Not sure what's going on, but we'll go ahead and move over to It's Paranoia's stream. Gonna get R-boned. How do you feel about R-bones?
They're great when you're seeing them in the last dungeon in the game. They're not great when they have skills and nonsense and you're fighting them at every other step in Ice Cream.
Yeah, I was gonna say either that or whenever Bones, R-bones, and Crawls get some kind of nonsense when it's a required marsh dive.
Yeah, there's a lot of packs within this game that make some of these dungeons a little bit hairy to dive through, and that's definitely one of the packs you hate to see because there's just so many possibilities for spells and skills, especially that early level when you typically don't have anything to defend it.
Yeah, luckily, obviously those R-bones had nothing. Durrun does do the map check, is going to make his way towards Lefane and get his key, but that's not, while that is one step closer to go mode, He still needs to go into Earth Cave and get that herb.
Yeah, hopefully getting the key, though, will narrow it down for him. Because I know he's probably thinking, okay, maybe it's just going to be behind the key locked box. He's just going to unfortunately get the bad news that it's not indeed. I don't think there was really anything behind any key lock boxes that was really worth walking out with from any particular plate.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, with its Paranoia's ribbons, gonna be able to get through that Kraken floor and make their way to Kraken, get through TO2, go on ahead and restore the time loop and get us out of here at this point. Because right now, Durrun at the 2-hour 41-minute mark picks up his key. I feel like this is eerily similar to what happened last night with the Link to the Past randomizer looking for keys.
It's crazy how I'm involved with both of those, and yet here we are.
Here
I feel
we
like I'm a jinx at this point. And yeah, I think Irish Fox is right. I think we checked all the key lock stuff in the game and didn't see much out of it, with the exception of whatever's down in Marsh Lock.
Yeah, I mean,
and at this point, there can't be a lot in Marsh Lock either.
Yeah, the only thing we're really missing right now is that third ribbon, and at this point, I have to assume it's in Topher somewhere. It's in one of these 7 chests, or it's in Locked Marsh Cave. We have all the gear we can possibly have, minus that one ribbon. We know where the massa is. That's what its Paranoia has. It was in the L mark and check in C1. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of boxes too that we didn't see, so I'd hate to say let's bank on Marshlock having something when I don't think we saw anything on Sky 1 or Sky 2 get checked. I don't think we saw but 4 boxes on Sky 3 get checked, so there's still a lot of places that their ribbon in the X-Cal could have landed. Alright, so cross our fingers for some good crack RNG here.
Yeah, so hopefully we don't see that Zap come out early, but luckily with 2 ribbons, Zap isn't going to be like a huge deal. We got the wall coming out on the Black Mage, so we should be completely 100% protected from that Zap. Durrun doing the key lock checks. 7 hits, 453, and we've got a dead Lich right now, which that's not surprising. We already knew Lich and Carry 2 didn't have much in the way of anything.
Yeah, and we're not really sure what Kraken's got yet either, unfortunately, because that first turn Bane from her kind of doomed 2 of our Light Warriors on Paranoia's side on this.
Chat wondering, do we have an ETA on the finish here? We're thinking around 5 or 6 minutes, depending on if it's Paranoia takes a wipe here. Waiting on somebody from SG to come talk to us to see what we need to do. Because I do know that there is a Metroid randomizer race happening after this that we're currently overrun onto.
So, Carry 2 fight happening, doing our buffs. Still gotta try and conserve all our fast and nukes and tempers, because we've still got 2 fiends, well, 3 technically fiends that we haven't seen really much of anything from. Carry 2 going down, because again, we knew she didn't have a whole lot in the tank either.
Yeah, luckily Carry 2 going down pretty easily there. And only a few more feeds. Getting doubled up on audio somehow. And you said on the game audio or on vocal audio? What are you hearing, Ale?
I think it's picking up your the game music through your speakers.
That doesn't make any sense because I have headphones on, but okay. I'm trying to figure out how to fix that.
Yes, Space Drake, this is still going. but I think we're near the end. I think the end is in sight.
Yeah, we got dragon armor. Big pickup on Durrun's side. That's gonna be a super upgrade to that ice armor that he currently has.
Yeah, taking some time to clean up his menu a little bit, or his armor inventory there a little bit. So smart use of his menu.
Sulita, hopefully I was able to fix the audio issue. Just let me know if it still sounds kind of goofy on your end. But we're going to go on ahead and hopefully pull this Kraken 2 here and see what happens.
Yep. And we're just going to be hoping for some, maybe not Bane for the first spell before this wall lands.
Yeah, right? All right, cool. No double audio. Sleepy Osser pointing out that a sub 3 is still better than they could do. Durrun just staring at his screen, not sure what to do anymore at this point. Wall does come out. It is going to protect that Black Mage, so we should be good to go when this Bane comes out. No! What? What is that?
This is like the story of the seed, I think, right here.
That is insane! The wall comes out, lands on the Black Wizard, and the Black Wizard gets 3 and 256 down, and another Bane comes out, but luckily nothing's happening.
Luckily, it doesn't look like Kraken's got a lot in the way of absorb, so hopefully another round or two of swinging that defense sword in. Oh no, slow
2 hits on the fighter! 2 hits, 102. Just get some fades out there at this point. 3 hits, 168. 4 hits, 224 on the fighter. Fade coming out for 248. Cure 4 coming out. Good call on not protecting Ive. Ive takes another hit to the face. 2 hits, 93 damage. Fade gonna come out. Gonna just bank on some sort of damage rolls here. 69 damage. 3 hits, 305. Ive has only 32 points.
Luckily.
I like that turn order a lot. As Ive takes another hit.
Goes Kraken 2. Excellent.
Oh, that's awesome. And if you want to go on ahead and talk about the whole 3 and 256 and why we freaked out about that Bane hitting, go on ahead.
Yeah, so like Chad is mentioning a little bit, so throwing out the wall spell on that Black Wizard gives him the battle, for one battle, the equivalent of having a ribbon equipped. Unfortunately, with Final Fantasy's lovely RNG table, there is no such thing as total immunity. A couple of the entries are a little bit wonky. And so on the table of 256 entries, there are 3 entries there that will still, even with the wall equipped, allow a spell to succeed when there's a ribbon equipped by somebody or under the effects of the wall spell. So having the wall spell go out and still having Bane land on that Black Wizard is that 3 and 256 chance.
Which is just slightly under, what, like 1% or around 1%, just a little over 1%. It's pretty low.
It's abysmally low.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly to have that happen, especially when you take the time out of your day to throw the wall out and then immediately get Bane through the wall. That is just unacceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always one of those things you hate to see when it's happening to the player, but it's always something to cheer for when you do it to a fiend. So, because it kind of does go both ways.
Yeah, so good turn order here. Quadex coming out, not really going to be able to do anything against these guys with the wall and the ribbons.
No!
Oh no, Nuke! Nuke low rolls. Thank God he's going to be able to keep his people alive, but not doing a lot of damage. A lot of hits are landing, but not a lot of damage is landing right now. We got to get some temper strats happening. I've hit 9 hits, 103. Lit 3's not going to do anything. Going to keep everybody alive. Temper coming out.
Yeah,
on
if this
Ive.
Black Wizard goes down, we've got to swap the power bonk on Ive.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, 9 hits, 44. Lit 2's going to take out Ing. And Cure 4 keeping everybody alive. The important people. You got to keep your life 2 person alive. 10 hits, 226. Lit 2 doing a whole lot of nothing. Harm 3 coming out. I assume that was a mistake there. It's power bonk and we're going to wait. Fire 2, he's just flying through these spells. Lit 2, we know Nuke is going to come back around at some point. 9 hits, 152.
Yeah, we really want to hope. Oh, never mind. Tia 2
Yeah.
might have a lot in the chamber, but it doesn't have a lot of HP.
Wow, what a glass cannon. Like that. Like,
Gave us a scare with all those spells, though.
Oh man, Durrun finding the Excalibur in the not the incentive marsh check, but the incentive marsh locked checked. That bottom right room down in Marsh 3, finding the Excal. I mean, that's at least better than not finding the Massa.
True. Bonus points to Irish Fox since he called either Excalibur Ribbon and Marsh Lock, and here we are. So
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. And just one more battle to go. We've got a chaos battle coming up right now. We need It's Paranoia to make things happen. We are 2 hours, 52 minutes.
here we go.
Here we go. Chaos is pulled. You got Temper coming out. He puts his knight in the back row. I like the move. Gonna go on ahead and wall up his black mage. Defense coming out.
Ooh.
Wow, Black Mage goes down before anything happens, so no fast out of him. Luckily, he still got his Red Mage alive. Gonna be able to fast up anyway. Power Bonk, fast. Poison damage is not gonna do much of anything.
Say, poison damage being the story of this seed, and of course Chaos has it.
Yeah. Got another Tempers, trying to think about what he wants to do. Surprised he didn't throw out any Fade charges unless he has no Fade charges left. Chaos.
We're out of fades on that White Wizard.
Yeah, Chaos going to do a speedball and then go on ahead and keep going.
Oh no!
Oh no! Dude, coming out again! Oh!
Chaos goes
Six
down!
hits! What? God, he could have had more than 1,100. That is insane! That is crazy. And with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 53 minutes, and 6 seconds, Paranoia, It's Paranoia gets his first win. Gonna go 1-2, and unfortunately, Durrun does take the loss here at 0-3. We're gonna get It's Paranoia in here quickly. I'm gonna go on ahead and shoot him the thing so we can do a super quick, the quickest post-game interview I'm gonna ever do, and hopefully go on ahead and let the Metroid people do their thing, because I know we are holding them up right now. It's Paranoia is already in here. I just need to pull them up. Hey, what's going on?
That was a 3-hour odyssey of the.
Yeah, that was pretty awful. It's Paranoia. Can you go on ahead and repeat that one more time?
But yeah, no, that was like a 3-hour odyssey of despair. It was a bad time.
Yeah, that was rough. All that poison damage, huh?
Oh yeah, just trying to get through. Oh, I see. He's stuck in an ice cave right now.
Yeah, those images with poison damage was pretty rough in there, huh?
Poison damage and literally just everything.
Yeah, that was pretty awful. I hate to see that you wiped on that Kraken 2 battle with the Bane, and then the Bane immediately 3 and 256 you. How'd that make you feel? Yeah.
Poison as well. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Unfortunately, we've got to make this post-game interview pretty quickly because we are Speed Gaming 2 has a Metroid randomizer race happening, or it should have started 30 minutes ago. So I'm going to go on ahead and get your final thoughts before we get Ale in here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't have final thoughts. I just have I want to go lay down for a bit and do literally anything else.
Yeah, this was definitely an endurance testing seed, that's for sure.
Yeah, totally understandable. I hate that we can't talk more about the seed and what your thoughts are on it. But yeah, at the 2 hour 51 minute mark, we just unfortunately have to go. We have to give our Speed Gaming to a little bit of that respect as well, since we do have other racers waiting to do their thing. So you did your last final thoughts. Ale, you got anything else for us before we get out of here?
Final thoughts from me is if you want to hear more about this seed from It's Paranoia, pop into that Discord we just linked. So there is this post-race spoiler discussion. Maybe we can get some conversation going in there about how much fun.
I remember in another place.
Aside from that, I mean, just thanks to Speed Gaming and all our fans here who hung out with us for this 3-hour sprint to the finish. Thanks, Greg, for doing comms.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Q, for doing comms earlier. It was a pleasure having both of you guys in the
Yeah, it ended up working out really awesome.
y'all.
Unfortunately, Q had to take off. Obviously, IRL stuff happened, but ALR Tracker was able to hop. I want to thank Speed Gaming 2 for having us here. I apologize again for the Metroid community for being held up on this race, but we're going to go on ahead and get out of here and let them do their thing. Good luck to Durrun. Please follow Durrun and cheer him on the rest of this race. I mean, at this point, you can just let him know that the herb is wherever. I mean, you didn't hear it from me, but at this point, I feel like he's kind of spinning his wheels. But on behalf of myself, Greg Puff, Q, who was my comms partner earlier, L Markin, who did the awesome tracking. It's Paranoia is now 1 and 2 as Durrun goes 0 and 3. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, afternoon, night happening, and we will see you on the flip side. Have a wonderful rest of your day.